Hey there, I'm Cyberchroma. Yeah, okay. First thing I thought I was muted. No, everything seems to be good. Hello, welcome. Let's get the random background music started, and that's all going good. Yip. Okay, I'm still setting up a couple things. Don't mind me. Yeah. So, okay, where were we with everything happening? So, game. We're making a video game. Wow. Okay, recapping as of stuff of yesterday. So this is a 9-day game dev challenge I have given myself, not for any competition or anything, just trying to make a game in a short amount of time, just because. There's been plenty of bumps in the road. Let me just make sure I just move that out of the way for now. Been some bumps in the road that we're working through, such as that today is technically day 7, but we're saying that it's day 6. I was super busy all of yesterday. That didn't work on the game like at all. So I just cut that day out and said like that doesn't count today. So 2 days ago was day 5. Today is day 6. Is how we're saying stuff. Also, I've been thinking, and I think I'm going to be making some more changes to this. Also, today's going to be a stream on the shorter time. My streams like all this week have been like 6 hours or whatever, even though the initial plan was like I was only going to stream for like 2 hours or something. That's like all I had time for. And then I streamed way longer than that, which meant I got behind in some other things that I needed to get done, which means that like I basically couldn't stream yesterday, and even today I like almost wasn't able to, but I got enough stuff done that like I was able to find that little bit of time, and then get into the weekend tomorrow. I might be able to stream for more time, we'll see, and then all of Sunday I should be free, so we'll see. But anyways, enough of my schedule. So with this, we still have all of this stuff to do if we want to finish the game. I've been thinking, and I want to make some changes, and that starts with a new category. The initial plan with this whole challenge. Let me move my microphone out of frame. That's not my microphone. That's the chair. Whoa. Also taking this off. Way too hot. Way too hot in ye old summer. Right now. I need to get like a special coat rack just for that, rather than just throwing it on the back of my chair. No. Okay, so what was I? One second. Is everything set up? I set things up in a hurry, so I don't fully. Hoping I haven't missed anything, but yeah, I believe, so we did some scrambling at the end of yesterday in terms of where the game actually was. Let me double check everything does still seem to be functional. Yeah, our like test level is still just as massive as ever, and making no sense in terms of the actual level design, and being extremely difficult just because there's no care and consideration given for all the things that are around. No, the big guy. Like, would it be possible for me to actually go around and somehow manage to kill everything? Haha, that guy died. Oh no. Oh no. No! Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, so the game as it currently is. The why of all of this is very weird. As soon as I let like a turn pass, yeah, everything, like, things just kind of push in the air. Things are only kind of flat because I took the overall parent level thing and just squished it. That's behind my head. Hold on. What? I throw the console up here just so that then you can kind of see stuff. Yeah. I scaled this down. It normally was looking like this, which, yeah. Anyways, yeah. We could have just used straight up like sprites and stuff as you do in 2D games, but I work better in 3D. I think. Yeah. So yesterday, last stream 2 days ago, the main focus was on making these giant enemies, and that all went well. That was cool and all. Yeah, so we did that, and then now we're going into. I'm hoping today we can design some levels, which I'm not the greatest at level design, so we're gonna see how that goes in practice. But you know, we'll see. I'll flounder around and hopefully make some things that are not the worst thing ever. And then I'm sure as we go to physically build them, we'll do some amount of testing and like tweaking and stuff. So yeah, that'd be a thing. Anyways, I said like many paragraphs ago that I was some changes we're gonna make to the plan here, I think. How do I want to word this? Actually, first of all, let me just go build levels. Plan levels is its own. Plan and build are gonna be two separate things. Plan levels, that's what we're gonna be doing right now. So the game idea that we have with this has, even trying to be condensed, this like small polished thing has gotten a bit over ambitious in some aspects, even for just being this little grid based thing. Even stuff I was talking about in the last stream of how we're gonna do level transitions and do this fancy transition where it's like it's zooming into the goal and then next level kind of like, it looks, in a 2D sense, it looks like you fall into the next level, but because it's 2D, faking that way, just like scaling stuff up to simulate that effectively, you're falling into it. I mean, just doing that alone is going to take a lot of time. When I first planned doing this challenge and then even planning the game at the beginning of this challenge, I envisioned having a lot more time to actually be working on the game. So far, like, that hasn't necessarily happened. Like, I was hoping to even be doing a lot of work like in between streams, and that hasn't happened. So the amount of like time I've been able to put into this challenge, yeah, has been less, which is unfortunate because if I had a lot more time, then I'd be making a lot bigger of a game. And there's like some you know, things we might have to cut to be able to finish the game on time, which is unfortunate. You know, if I want to make this artificial deadline I've set to myself, which was Sunday now because I pushed everything back, now that ends up being Monday night when I was hoping to do this. So, and like, so, with that being said, how I think I want to do this is we'll cut some of the sort of wish list items that we wanted. Like, we have a very simple level transition. We're hoping for this big fancy one, but if for finishing the game here, we just, I don't think, have time for that. We should be focusing more on the items that give us an actual finished game that is playable from beginning to end. But then afterwards, I might do some of that stuff. In that, so the initial plan was that I'd finish a game in the 9 days, and then it'd be done, this polished, nice condensed thing, it'd be done, and then I don't look back on it, and then like I go back to some of the other projects that I'm doing. But, and there's, you know, getting that practice of, like, we can finish a game and have it just be functional, playable by day 9, and then maybe after it we do, like, the game is functional, but let's, you know, do some polishing of certain things. Could be good practice for me anyways, and could just be good, you know, like stuff that I don't usually do with games if I don't get far enough to finish them. You know, actually getting more of that experience with, yeah, polishing a game and getting all the little nitty-gritty details to be all good and nice and awesome. So what I think, so I already said like part of the plan, but I'll say it better. What I'm thinking I might try to do is we focus on just the things that make the game technically playable and finished in that kind of a sense. And if we finish that by the end of like day 8, day 9, and then maybe like even if it's playable, then it's like that version of the game I publish on itch.io. And I still need like a name for the game, but we do that kind of stuff. And then I think we have a bonus category. If we finish early, that's the whole thing. If we finish early, then we can do some of these other things. But at this point, I don't know if we will finish early. If we try to do all of this, finishing early. So then I'm thinking that what we do after is we have this bonus category of stuff that was not mandatory to so-called finish the game. I don't know where these are going to fall. It might be like simple start and end sequence here, and then like the fancier you know, beginning and ending sequence over there, or even like sound effects. Like I have very little experience doing sound effects. That's the one thing that also makes this hard. Is like when I'm running into certain issues with, there's stuff that I haven't done a lot of before. Like I've barely done stuff with like putting in sound effects and like music in games. I mean, music will be easy in this. It's just like one track that plays through the whole thing in theory. But like if I have more time to do stuff then I can put more of that time into aspects of game development that I don't normally do a whole lot with, and I think that can be good practice for me for when then I go back to my so-called real games that I'm working on, I guess. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is, yeah, we're gonna kind of tweak this challenge a little bit, and it's like, okay, I guess that's happening. Try to just get a completed, because I tried to also, this is meant to be like a fun, just like, oh, hey, I'm coming back to streaming, let's like make a game in this condensed bit of time, and like practice on myself to not like overscope or whatever. But I think most of why that sort of fell apart was more just, I thought I would have a lot more time than I actually did, and that's okay, that happens. You know, I got a job and all that, and that, there are other things that are a bit higher priority and whatnot. I mean, again, that's okay. Maybe in the future I could have another go at this challenge and try to better be like, okay, this is how much time I'm actually gonna have from this first attempt. I can maybe have better estimates and then use that to make something that's even smaller, but then actually, you know, finish it or whatever. But the idea is that by the end of day 9, we actually finish the game, and then afterwards I can have a couple streams where then the time limit doesn't matter anymore. I don't have to stretch myself out worrying about it, and we just can work on like, hey, let's just, you know, add this functionality just to see if we can do it, using it more as like the, you know, practice with that end game kind of polish and like, yeah, aspects of games that I don't usually get to do, and even learning some things like, so I mean, after I was done this game, one plan that I had for future streams, before I get back into working on my main game that I was working on before, the Handyman of the Unicycle, I've said before that there's certain, despite how long I've been doing Unity stuff, I still think that there's some gaps in my knowledge in regards to different like aspects of Unity that I like, even like I've, you know, done a lot of this thing, but I haven't done that much of this, or even just individual like specific like game mechanics that I've never programmed before that I think would be neat to try. So I was thinking that I would for a while shift into that kind of content where I, you know, have a stream or a couple streams where it's like, hey, I've never made a character do like a ledge grab before, to like grab a ledge and climb up. So let's like, rather than making a full like game around that, just like Unity project where all it is a character, maybe you don't even control it, maybe it's like more like an NPC that runs up, grabs a ledge, actually has hands physically on the a ledge that can be of varying heights or whatever, and then it hoists themselves up, and like that's the project. We make that, and then we do that, and then it's like, yeah, okay, that's a thing that I've never done before that now I have done, and I can use the skills from doing that to then apply it to other things. And I wanted to basically, I don't have a list written down, but I was thinking of starting a list of those kinds of things, the sort of things in game development that I want to learn or at least get better knowledge in, do a bunch of those, and then start to weave back into, you know, making actual more proper games using some of those skills with that. And some of those I think could apply to this game, where I use this as like a, let's open up this game again and then practice making a certain thing. One thing on that list, something I've always wanted to try but I've never actually done. So technically I have a game on Steam called Washed Up Wizard. It's an experience. But one thing I've never done is Steam achievements, and I'm curious as to how that process goes. Have I done in-game? Wait, no. Okay, maybe not, but I think I know conceptually how I would do in-game achievements, and that doesn't seem like the hardest thing in the world, depending on the game, depending on like how you go about implementing it. But like, I could imagine making a small game that has a very simple rudimentary like achievement system that wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to implement based on like what I know how to do in Unity. I think I could handle that. That wouldn't be that bad. But I'm curious of how to integrate like Steam achievements into that. That would assume that like you're making a game to then publish on Steam specifically. Or I mean, if you're doing it on Xbox and you have Xbox achievements or, you know, PlayStation trophies, like same kind of thing, but I'm using Steam as the example of like basically sort of however you interface with like external API kind of whatever. I don't even know if I'm using the right terms in that context. So I was thinking, where I was getting with that is, of this list of random things I want to do, one of those things I want to do is just figure out how to like do Steam achievements. Even just like, we use this game as like the guinea pig of just when you beat to the final level, get to the credits, you just get one singular achievement. It's just like you did the thing. So I'm gonna say learn Steam achievements. And I imagine, so this probably, I would like to think, other than maybe some initial setup with having to install certain things with like Steam stuff, I imagine this probably isn't the hardest thing in the world to do. It's probably just a matter of like installing the right things, putting them in the right folders, and then calling the right function that says like, hey Steam, like trigger that this achievement was done. But it's still something I've never done before, and thus something that I want to do. And actually, I will not right now, but I will start a list. What I said, like list of some random like individual game mechanic type things that I want to learn how to do. I'm gonna actually start. I have a little bit of a mental list of a couple things, but I want to start more of a like actual written down list of game things I want to learn, and I can use this as an example of doing that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's for more stuff like outside of this game. It gives me more also justification that like we can finish this game and then work on it for realsy. If I do this, would I actually put this on Steam? That's like a maybe, right? So when you put a game on Steam, it costs you like $100 to do so, and I wouldn't charge for a game this small and like meaningless. I could charge like $1, but like, is it even worth that? I don't know. I'd figure that out. Probably I'd make it free, I would think. But I could do that just, I mean, I don't know if I'd almost have to do that to test that the achievement thing actually works even locally on my end, but then that can be its own thing to test to it. I have put a game on Steam, but that was years ago. So, I mean, that's can be another thing to more learn, but more like remember how to do is how you remind myself of the whole process of putting a game on Steam and what exactly goes into it. I know you have to make all the different like artwork of like the store page and like all the different banners and stuff. So I mean, that would even just be useful just to remind myself the checklist of like what different things you need. And in a game this like simplistic, it could be like super simple in theory of what actual, you know, art we go with looks like. Yeah, so that's an example of thing I want to try, and then I'm sure I can come up with more things. If I do actually keep working on this, to do that fancy level transition thing I mentioned before, one thing that I think I would do differently, or one of the first things I think I'd do that'll assist in the level transition thing. We have a few mechanics in this that almost act like being 3D despite not being 3D. It's a 2D thing. I might basically make the camera orthographic, but then actually properly flatten out all of these so-called models. So the game would still look the same as far as the camera. It would look exactly like this, but if the camera itself is orthographic, then I could do more messing with the y-axis to actually move stuff up and down. And if we're falling into a next level, I could then actually just physically move the camera forward, and that would potentially be a lot easier. So I might like mess around with. But I think that might be one thing I want to do, because it'll just make that easier for me, and I have to do less faking it with 2D models. And even I don't know exactly if this would work well, but these rocks that are meant to be falling, so-called from the ceiling, I could even make that work. And even if it has a shadow, I don't know how that would work. I might have to come back to that, but yeah. I mean, I could go even further than that. I could go even further than that and try out. If I make the camera perspective, like I could try the idea of making the game actually be on a bit of angle, which has its own kind of unique style. Like it does kind of look interesting. I just don't know how much I want to like. Okay, it does kind of look cool, but I don't know how much if I want to deviate too much from the so-called original idea. I might not want to get too carried away with that, but I don't want to necessarily like have the game be super unpolished because I'm just trying to finish it so fast. It'd be cool to like get the, you know, a small thing like this, so small, to actually be decently polished. But yeah, anyway. Water. Actually, since not many people are here, I want to fill up that. I'm gonna go fill that up real quick before we get started for real. So I will be right back in 2 seconds. Okay, and we're back. Also just making sure everything is indeed working. Okay, so I guess let's get started for real. Enough rambling from me about future plans. For now, all that matters is we are, actually, I mean, I guess I should decide a little bit how if I want to just have a game that's complete. Sound is good for, is important for games, but technically, if I'm being super technical, it's not absolutely. Oh, I'm gonna put polish. I'm gonna let polish be its own thing. Technically, it's not, doesn't make a break our game being like technically doable from start to end. But it'd be unfortunate to not have. But you know, ideally we do. Because I don't have a lot of time today, I'm basically just gonna say that plan levels, build levels, and we'll see. And if this is I'm gonna assume, like, hopefully I can be ahead of this and then get ahead of schedule, finish all this, and then get some music or sound effects in here. Yeah. Plan for this being smaller so that we can maybe get ahead of it. I'm gonna polish what 2 things. It's fine. Technically, also build levels and start and sequence, those will go hand in hand, but yeah. Anyways, plan levels, which I gotta figure out what I'm actually doing for that. I am actually, okay, well, sorry, one more thing. Well, I mean, starting to actually make stuff, but one of the modification I just want to make. This goal block, assume that you're seeing through it like a hole. So it will be that in theory eventually. While it's not like that currently, I'm just gonna cover it up, so to speak. I guess I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna temporarily look a bit weird. I'm just gonna put a face there, just so in here it's gonna be like that. Oh, technically you can kind of see a little bit of color variation, which is fine, but the idea is that's temporary. We'll get rid of it eventually. I could even maybe like whip up some quick design of it looking almost like checkered of like 2 colors or something to look more like a goal, but for now it's fine. Oh right, I totally forgot that that's not even on my list, is it? I think I generically grouped this under polish, but technically part of what should be on this list, what was supposed to be on this list, I mean, these colored blocks are meant to be physical things at some point. Eventually, you know, this is supposed to be like a spring, so it would have a spring animation and sound effect. This is supposed to be fire, so it would have some kind of, you know, fire particle effect. It's a lot of stuff that we don't necessarily have time for. This is supposed to be like a boulder that's falling from the ceiling that hits this like cracked ground. I mean, one thing is like I could, if I really want to be super polished, making different cracked ground variations is one thing, and then as well, yeah, I'm just gonna, the grid is, these grid marks are perfectly in line with that, and that probably shouldn't be like that. So let me just kind of really go in, whoa, grab you guys and just go 0.1, just so you have that. Yeah, wasn't really affecting what the camera was seeing, but just still good to do. Okay, so I'm gonna sit down, I guess. I'll bring this over, put this actually on chair properly. Okay. So let's see now if, to any degree, I can. Oh, we're in the wrong scene. That matters that much, but technically, this is the first, our first proper level testing scene. This and this were more for what's the word I'm looking for? The test that are like actually switching between levels was working, but yeah, that should be fine. Should be fine. Okay, so I did have this other scene, level planning. For level planning, doesn't matter too much which scene we make it in. I did start making 2 levels which is, I mean, this was entirely just placing block randomly. I have a better idea, I think, how we're gonna go about this to start, which is just that, so here I was basically just placing blocks randomly, like, oh, maybe we could do this, and then maybe this, like, whatever, trying to introduce too many mechanics too early. Oh, also, let me get rid of some of this, so it's just, yeah. I've said this before, I'll quickly say it again. The idea is that the real game will be, the background will look like these grid marks. Well, this is kind of, you know, it takes a while to set these up, especially when I'm, you know, sort of prototyping sort of floor layouts. It's a lot easier to do with this. So this is not how the game will look. This is meant to be like a temporary kind of thing to then be replaced by these when it's in a more polished version. So yeah, this was like a temporary like level 1. I don't know if we might rebuild these or say like I don't have time to do any kind of alterations, so like this is where we're going. We'll see. I am just noticing that in terms of these blocks, I guess technically I wouldn't need one that's over the goal like that. Let me just double check that test level 1 that I had. I want to say it probably does have that, so yeah, it should also go away. Not that that matters too much. So yeah, we have several game mechanics that we gotta like introduce. So here's my idea. So before I was like, oh, like try to figure out like what each level should have in this kind of way. I was just kind of building it haphazardly or whatever, or even trying to count like, I don't know how many total levels there's going to be. I have a rough idea of what the beginning of the game should look like, and I have a rough idea of what the end of the game is going to look like, and then a bunch of level mechanics to kind of have in between, and have a rough idea of like, to a degree, like some mechanics should be introduced before others, and even some interactions between mechanics should be introduced before others. So I think rather than trying to just go like level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on, I have this level template thing here. Yeah. This was kind of what the thing we were just working in looked like back on it. Oh, why are you so massive? Oh, the parent thing shouldn't be, and then you were there? Yeah, okay, you're fine, probably. I'm just curious to see, if I go into play mode right now, is this thing functional? No. Ideally, I want to, it'd be nice to be able to prototype in a level I can run around in. You are looking for... What are you looking for specifically? Oh, I think just the whole grid manager thingy. I mean, this would be so much easier to use. I could just, you know, this is like the sort of level planning scene. Nothing in here really matters that much. How about and these two things definitely don't matter. They were just tests that like level transitions are working. So I'm just gonna, here's what we're gonna do. This old scene I'm gonna kind of ditch, but I won't delete. Old level. This is almost like game planning. Game planning was what this was initially. This level testing was us building game mechanics and stuff. I'm gonna say level planning. This could be part of the same scene, but I'll separate it just because. So I still have like this in the other place. It's like haphazard of game mechanics if I need to go back and test some scenarios, but then this now in this duplicated scene I will kind of clear stuff out, go back to how things initially looked, which is going to take some completing. I'll leave the holes on. Let's see. I need to just make sure not to delete the grid, and everything else I can delete. Oh, I need to keep one copy of every individual game mechanic. So keep this row with this enemy here and this giant enemy here. That's fine. The holes, this whole thing, this like fake background thing, I'm gonna get rid of it for now. That was more for an aesthetic thing that we have in a more polished level, but we don't have time to worry about that for right now, I think. So we're gonna build levels without it, that kind of thing. But it's a kind of detail that I think we can add later into sort of finished levels, and it should be relatively fine. I do want to make sure I'm deleting the right things. So, you know, it doesn't matter which enemy I delete. Fine. Okay. I guess I can go just through here and just delete all but one thing, and whichever one is left, then move back. You, and then spinning arrow, normal arrow, faded arrow, boulder, fire, spring. Yeah, as long as I'm keeping, I mean, yeah, it's the wrong one, then it's fine, but as long as I'm for the most part keeping the thing I want. Cool. Player, move back down there, I guess. I did have this whole thing, I'll figure that out. Where did I put, oh, actually didn't mean to delete these, but the fact that I didn't means I can quickly grab them again. Actually, well, I mean, yeah, for now, delete all but one, and you're just gonna be a thing that gets to live over here or something. Okay, so, let me also double check. So why do I have two things of background? Because you're this. because I did kind of swap you out. Okay, so I'm fine to delete you, that version of it. Camera, player, level manager, and this game manager thing that we started to have being like a thing that will govern switching between levels. For now, we're not going to worry about it, and it should be fine. And copying in one game object for like, I don't know, 10 levels or something won't be the worst thing, so that should be fine. Okay, so, didn't, no, you're fine, okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I need to build, I just want to build like an environment for doing this conceptual stuff. Actually, I'll leave this down here for, I don't know, generic testing of things. What I need, though, is... I don't want to do this. So my idea is, rather than planning full levels all at once, sort of planning what would be a neat thing to have to do in a level, like sort of individual level moments that I think could be fun. And then once we have enough of those, then sort of stitching them together in an order that makes sense, and then bam, levels. That's the idea that I think could potentially lead to more interesting levels in theory. I'm just trying to lay out the groundwork of that system. I guess I shouldn't delete the grid, but holes. Okay, so let me just keep this initial like row of things as like a template, and then just kind of like move off to the side here. It doesn't really matter where, and then just start building stuff. And if I need more background space, then I can get it. Okay, so even I shouldn't duplicate the player. I can duplicate like everything else, just the player specifically will have some problems. The grid manager should be able to handle just being way up here. That should be fine. Okay, give me temp grid. Why are you not? I'm specifically clicking it, but it's like, nah, no, I don't think you want this thing. Okay, duplicate you, move you up here. So to just like rub out like an example of like, oh, just, you know, move down a bit of a corridor. Actually, like we'll build a bit more of a room, so I can be like, I was shift selecting. Thank you. Just a quick little like box, and then like just to test conceptually that like I can quickly rough this out and that this should work. I will need to still manually define holes. That should, just with the way that this is, that we initially set up the thing, but that should be okay. I'm fine to do that. Yeah. Why are you trying to do that so badly? If I let you get stretched out again, will you then be more likely to select the... Yeah. Sure. They're just less close together than for some reason it's actually letting me select what I want to select. Very well then. Okay. So we just quickly go up here, and I can actually, you know, duplicate multiple at a time to be faster and more efficient. And then I can, if I do this, yep, I'll actually grab all of what I want. Cool. So just pretend that's like, whoa, it's a bit of level. Delete that. Bring the goal over. The way that like the cutout in the environment works, the goal will be at 0, 0, the way this is set up. But for like just testing that a level will work, that more will only matter for like the actual like level transitions. And let's say I like, you know, put a thing of fire over here, right? Technically, if I'm putting a block down, I should delete the thing underneath, but that doesn't actually matter too much. This blue thing is purely a kind of conceptual thing. So I should be able to leave, yeah, woo, and I can die to fire. I'll respawn here, yeah, and then I can do that. It's like, whoa, I win, except I didn't actually go to the next thing, which is fine. Okay, so now we can start blocking out stuff, and I'll leave this as an example of sort of blocking out multiple kind of level chunks. I can leave this here and like, you know, duplicate down, and now start, you know, making something else. It does need to line up to the actual grid, which I should be fine. Actually, just, yeah, put this back to 1. So I'll know that I'll actually be taking to the grid. So now I can have this over here to kind of keep pulling in level mechanics as I want. Oh boy, so now there's a part that I'm worried about the most is the... I'll try and build up some interesting interactions. I think so. The holes only actually matter when I'm trying to, make sure I can't leave the bounds of the level. When I am just conceptually designing a level, like the user can just not leave the bounds and then define the holes later. So that's not super important. The holes are actually more meant to be like when I wanted to find a hole in the middle of a map, where that matters a bit more. Okay, so okay, interesting interactions. I don't know where to start. I guess, like, there's no real area to start rather than just like, so even these level like bits don't need goals in them. I can just be more like, if I go from here to here and then whatever. And then I can even, when I'm stitching level concepts together, in theory, up, down, left, and right shouldn't matter too much. So if I said that I wanted to like stitch this level chunk onto this, then I can just like turn it sideways and put up there if I wanted to. So yeah, the coordinality of stuff shouldn't matter. Also, I shouldn't be duplicating the player, as I said. Wait, what did I just delete? I don't even know. Oh, I deleted it. You selected the thing underneath? Fine. you again selected the thing underneath. Give me the player. Are you... I guess I'll just temporarily move you higher. More likely to, select it. Sure, why not? Okay, so what do we want to do? What's like interesting level design? Maybe I'll like start by just having a bigger sort of playground to mess with. Well, and there's some degree where it's like, yeah, having more room to just like be able to move around in this, but also some interesting level design can come from the close quarters. Okay, so one of the main things that I think you will do in this game is dealing with enemies. Wow. And so I'll start with some of the simple scenarios that I know that I kind of wanted. So let's say that you, hold on, yeah, in this level chunk, you player and an enemy, and okay, actually, two things I want to do. One, just the idea of having to lead the enemy around in a big circle so you can get past, and then the other idea of that you want to lead an enemy specifically into a hazard, and even that I could do that same idea with the different types of hazards we have, and then, yeah, in order to get around them. Okay, so if I want to say that you have to get past an enemy, then either I make holes or I make walls, or I do a bit of both just for funsies. So let's just say that, for the sake of example, it doesn't matter that, it really doesn't matter if I am putting walls on top of the blue things. So let's say that, like, I'm not going to put the goal, but I'm going to conceptually be like, the goal is here. The rest doesn't matter. I mean, even like this can be like further down, right? So if I want to set up a scenario where you are here, enemies here, and you need to get around the enemy. Actually, first of all, is just this open space like so-called enough? I mean, yeah. There's the danger of, oh no, the enemy's only one block away, blah 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 blah. Can I kind of set up something like that without the enemy getting that close? If this were to be a more so-called beginnery level, if I were to, let's say I do this, put like something here, so you have to kind of be going around it, and then this can be like along the bottom edge, and that is maybe interesting. Actually, interesting thing I just thought of is if this was like almost the start of a level. I mean, at the start, but the idea of the player being like starting in that little cubby and then having to go around. That's it. And then that's if you did movements perfectly. Then you have basically one turn to like spare. That's interesting. I have said this many times that like I don't specifically know how long levels are going to be. Actually, I'm curious what happens if I put like extra like block out there, because also that's just one thing that I think could make this game just in general more interesting, is just trying not to have too much symmetry. There's no reason to have symmetry. Having things be asymmetrical can just be more interesting. So yeah, I mean, that could be part of a level that is just like, I mean, the idea was just to have to go around, like lead him around. But this, you're not really, I'm kind of forcing, there's no strategy to that I'm leading it around. This is like, the player just goes the only way they can go to not die, and then they just have to go in a big circle. This, there's no strategy here. Like, there's no like puzzle, like, where like the player's like, aha, I know how to get past this by leading them in a circle. That's not really a thing here, but I mean, I could use this as more of a training kind of scenario of like, this is a thing you can have to do, and then well, if I'm unsure on an idea, I can like leave it be and then make more ideas. Although, how much real estate this is taking up, I might use up all this like a lot faster than I initially thought. I mean, I can squeeze these together more, but whatever. And I can also, I mean, this actually does not need to be half as big as it is. But whatever, not that important. Not that important. I mean, technically I can be building way out here. It doesn't actually matter, but you know, yeah. Okay, so like, how can I engineer a scenario? I mean, these are also, this is like a single kind of like only player and enemy. Ideally, you know, we use a lot of these mechanics, and I guess we'll get to that, but I guess I'm starting off with some simple mechanics of specifically this thing interacting with specifically this thing. I guess actually, so, I mean, okay, I mean, when I say level segments, they can be something like big, or they can be something, you know, super small. I could start with just like getting out all the, like, some really quick, like, simple ones where it's like, you know, this is something I potentially want, where I guess the only thing you have is a corridor. And I can, I guess, depending on how I then implement it, I could, in some contexts, walls are basically the same as holes. Like of the edge of the map. So I can at any point be like, I designed it like this, but then when I stitch it together with something else, replace walls for holes or vice versa. Oh, yeah. So the idea of why the 2 players, yes. Right. But yeah, remember to not do that. But the idea of springing towards an enemy. Well, that didn't work, but you know. I guess, I mean, this will almost be, I'd almost say it's, actually, okay, hold on. Why is this grid money so much to not open you up and go like, I can't move your position. Whatever. Spring. 5.2. What? You're not the spring. I selected it like this and it didn't select the spring. Why? Why is it being so picky with what I'm actually selecting? Give me that, please. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. But anyways, sorry. Putting a spring so that you have to. The only thing you can do is launch over an enemy to show some of that spring interaction. This might be in like the first level that has a spring kind of idea. Or I mean, I could use this with just like even a hazard there. If I'm trying to build out, as I said, see, these very simple scenarios, you can have the exact same idea with just fire there or any of the hazards. Another idea thing I want to teach, you know, early on with springs being a thing, is the idea that you can be on a spring and then change which direction you're going. And I basically just build that scenario by doing this, like just having an L. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So I don't have to do this, but I like the idea of it. So the correct thing is to go blah, blah. If you, I could have a thing just real quick. If you happen to like, oh no, right, it does not like multiple players. It does not like multiple players. Doesn't matter which one I delete. I think it shouldn't matter which one's the real one. If I'm like, oh no, I didn't do it fast enough. You have that slight, well, okay, we're ignoring the holes. If we're saying that over here is like where you actually want to go, the idea of like, oh no, I went back, you have that slight bit of time to go back and over, that's just more getting to see springs in action. I mean, maybe, I don't know. One thing I can do, I don't have to, I could remove block there to be like, hey, you're going over holes. That's, you know, teaching more at once, maybe. And I'll you know, I'll give this a little bit more wiggle room. Oh, right, because this is, actually was, oh, that's interesting. I forgot the idea that, you know, because when there's springs, you can have just holes and stuff. I just got the idea of just having even just a piece of level that's just like, here's a bunch of springs, you know, separated by nothing. Have fun with that. Ooh, actually, I can even do this, but then like, you know, I mean, it'd be slightly, not, this doesn't have to be maze-like, but just the fact that like, if the idea is to get like up and over here, these ones to the right can exist just for funsies and, you know, whatever. I mean, it can be a little bit maze-like where like this, you know, over here would be like a dead end. But yeah, I can have some kind of thing like this. But the idea that I had was that like, if somehow, once you're here, if you did this and then could like move in here and then you have to go like back and then like over here or something, that's maybe weird enough to be interesting. So that would land here, and then like that's going off to whatever. I could mark a bunch of these with goals just to have the idea be more clear. And then this doesn't have as much holes, and then it's like, whoa, how am I to navigate this? Oh, I didn't have an initial spring. Well, let's say once you're on this one, then oh, you do still have to react fast. But the oh no, the enemies from other chunks can come to kill me. Oh no. Oh, that's kind of funny, but like. It's fine, I'm not gonna worry about it too much just yet. But, whoa. But the idea then to come here, just so that you can, land here and then go down, which, I mean, this is, somewhat tricky to pull off, so I do have to make sure I can, I can pull it off myself. So, I can also judge some of these based on, like, if it's super difficult to do, then it can be part of a later kind of idea. But doing this can be sort of training the player a little bit. I just don't know if I should, cut out some of these, like, not that one. The thing is from here, you have to, wait, was it here, this, how did I get to this one? No, this is what I'm sort of starting on. It's like you'd go over this way, you'd land here, have to turn around, and then go down and over. Here, something that just makes it slightly easier. It could be like, I can have a wall here because that gives a little bit of forgiveness to sort of plan, to not have to be doing all these moves sort of perfectly. But the idea of like and you can go straight up though. I don't know if I want that. Like the idea is like over, up, over. Not that that matters that much, but and if I really want it, I could have like a bit of movement like this. Blah, and then over, and then down. That's the only way to get to this one. Down, down, over. And I think even then I might like maybe move these up, and then it's like you're more over this way, which means that those are kind of connecting, which means I need to like take, this, and then like move it over just to be like, it's a separate thing. Don't worry about it. I don't need to like section these off with like grids. But then over here is like also, over here is not important, but this allows you just kind of get like, you press the wrong direction, slight leniency, I guess. I guess I did say that you needed to like, get on this, and you know what? No, the first one will be have a spring that launches you into it. So this would be part, maybe. So I don't know if this would be its own level in and of itself, or just a chunk of a level. We'll have to see. That'll kind of depend on like how easy it is to die if you mess up, and how easy it is to die, and then like if you make it through this, and I want another level chunk, then like how unforgiving dying is based on like how far you are into this particular level. I will real quick, actually, if I were to do something like this, it'd probably be a little bit more leniency to kind of bit of a heads up. So like that's weird chunk of thing, but just messing around. Does no guarantee that all of these scenarios will make it into a real level. Yeah, we'll see. I'm just making a bunch of random stuff, and then we'll see what happens. So I haven't had anything with like multiple enemies, so that's something I guess I want. I never got back to, so this I was going to do more with, this kind of idea, where, something about actually, whoops, you're not, give me the player, something about actually moving an enemy into, like having to lead it into a hazard so that it dies, so then you can get past. So how can we set up that scenario? Get the fire over here. I guess for now we're gonna be working with fire. I don't know at what point we'll introduce those, but we'll see. Okay. So okay. I can't. So there's two things. One, I can't just. Immediately into fire. I want to at some point show the fact that enemies will die to fire. That's an important thing to teach the player, even to teach it early on as part of like something else. So one thing idea I've just had for that is chunk of level. I don't need any of this. Okay, just a chunk of level where it's like all you have as the player are doing is just moving to the right in whatever the environment looks like, and just having a bit of not this, but like but then they'd all move down individually. Actually, I'm curious if I'm holding right, if I somehow were to enter this section from the right, will they all kind of? They didn't really I was kind of thinking that it'd be more like this. Just as part of whatever level you're doing, you're just having to move over to the right. Just you're seeing like, hey, how's it going to die? Hey, those enemies, they'll die if they go in lava. Like this not being the level or obstacle, this being like you're in the middle of dealing with something else, and you just see that happening off to the side. That's subconscious being like, oh, they can do that. Lightning Stripes, hello, I remember you. Welcome to the stream. Chroma lives. Yes, I do. Yeah, it's been a while. Huh. One thing I'm just gonna do as a thing. Actually, for no reason other than I can just like move that one off, just because. Been too long. How's life been? Busy, very busy, but going good. Yeah, I got so busy that I couldn't really be streaming for quite a while there, but I'm back and hopefully streaming consistently-ish, but I still have, I mean, one thing, I have like a full-time job now, so like that makes me busy, but I am hoping to be back into the streaming thing, hopefully somewhat consistently going forward. And so with this being my first week back streaming, my 6th stream that I've done, what you're witnessing here is we're making a game as part of this like 9-day challenge thing, not for any sort of competition or anything, just as a personal thing, just like, hey, let's make a game in like a short period of time, just because. Yeah, so this is what we're making right now. We're attempting level design, something that I'm not great at, but you get better at something by practice, and that's what I'm trying to do. So we're sort of constructing some level stuff, but I can give you the real quick, like, if I go over here, yes, save all the things. Over here, you can see just the chaos that is our like test level as we were just building mechanics. So basically, this game is you're a cube man, and you're a cube, and you move in like a grid thing. You move automatically every 0.4 seconds. It's kind of a little bit snake-like, where you're more just turning rather than moving. But then we have all these different things you can interact with. We have springs, we have arrows that force you to go in a certain direction. Springs launch you 2 tiles. There's enemies that will run at you and kill you. We got large enemies that same thing but big. Even though we have this grid thing, there'll be like holes in the floor that you can fall through, but then also walls. It's slightly more forgiving than Snake, because like not everything kills you. Like walls won't kill you. Well, okay, if the enemy wasn't there, you'll bump into walls, and that'll cool idea, would make a good phone game. I haven't done that much mobile development stuff. I mean, I could, as an experiment, learn how to put this on mobile, but yeah. The idea is meant to be like just a small little thing. The game itself isn't going to be super massive in theory, because of the time constraint that I put on myself. I mean, I did just say, as of today, we are kind of sort of falling behind in what the initial schedule kind of was, because I just didn't have nearly as much time as I thought I would to actually work on this game. So our current plan is that, like, by the end of the so-called day 9, I just want to have a finished game, in that, like, it's not just a test level. We have some actual levels, even if not all of the polish is there, just like it's a playable thing. And then I'm gonna kind of tack on some bonus days where then we kind of polish it up and make things better, as like maybe sound effects and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the idea is this will probably go up on like itch.io or something. I'm not too concerned with the actual like releasing it. This is meant to be like a big game to release or whatever. Is more just like a personal charge to just make stuff and come back to the stream then in a way that could potentially be interesting to see, rather than jumping immediately back into random stuff I was doing before. Although I have rambled a fair bit about like the potential stuff that I might be doing after this is done, and got a lot of ideas, a lot of potential things that we'll be doing. Back over to level planning though. So right now what we're doing, you saw those different mechanics that are there. Basically we're planning some ideas for levels. Oh, and also, you saw before in the other one, we were moving in like a grid. That's what I actually want the kind of environment to look like. These blue squares are just to represent that same grid, but like this, it's easy for me to like adjust the floor plan of a level. So this is just more like a level building tool, I guess. But then it'll actually, I'll swap it out looking like this in the so-called real thing. Yeah. It'd be cool if I could like automate this. Like, I do build a level like this, and when I go into play mode, it like each one of these, like, it spawns stuff. But we don't have time to get that ambitious. On day one when we were planning this game, I had like so many other, like a big list of potential like other types of tiles that you would interact with that would do different things. We cut out like over half of that list just because like this will take way too long to like actually do. And even getting all of this stuff to work, mainly these enemies ended up being quite tough. And like with each new thing we make, then making it like how it interacts with every other thing, it yeah, gets complicated. Like we have like, like our turn manager. Here's all the chaos that is how the large enemies move. Ooh, code. Wow. Yeah, that's that. And then we got like, this is the normal enemies, which look pretty similar, but have a lot of key differences. These boulders that we have that like roll around, kind of like as if it's like a patrolling enemy sort of deal, is the idea. We have like, I guess this moving the camera. We have like the grid manager of how stuff knows what grid position it's in, and then it uses this to know like what's in the grid space beside me and stuff like that. The most complicated script in the game. Wow. No. That's stuff with the arrows. So yeah, we have a lot of interesting things here. I did a few game jams a while back. I made it kind of Zelda game. Ooh, very cool, very neat. I've done a few game jams myself. So yeah, this is like, I was almost treating it like a game jam, even though this isn't part of any particular game jam. Yeah, I mean, I've sort of cheated a bit in that, like, yesterday I had no time at all to work on the game, so, like, technically yesterday was supposed to be day 6, but I kind of pushed it all back a day, because I didn't have any time to work on it. I was busy with other things. No, yeah. My challenge, I can change the rules whenever I want. I mean, part of this was meant to practice a little bit, like, you know, making games small and, like, actually finishing it, like, getting better at estimating how long things are going to take and not over-scoping or whatever, so didn't exactly do that completely, but yeah, is how it is. Anywho, okay, blah. So here we were yeah, just planning random like stuff. The idea of this, actually I'm just gonna finish just what I'm doing here. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go like, just for fun, let's like say you be like there, and then you be here, just for funsies. Random level segment just to show. This would be early on a little bit of like a tutorial, but without explaining stuff directly to the player. Just the fact that like if enemies touch fire, then they die. You'd just be moving right as you'd see. Well, in theory, whatever's happening here is like another one of these level chunks of something else happening. Game jams with a team are rough. We start with 15 people and end up with 5. Oh no, I've never worked with a team that large. 15. I made a game in like high school where I worked with a couple people, but I guess it's a bit different. I had to play project manager to get things rolling because we were a weekend and nobody had done anything with me. Yeah, that can also be unfortunate. I mean, yeah. I mean, well, with different game jams, whether it's more like a for fun, like it's okay if you don't know code, just experimenting and like whatever, versus like there are some game jams that are actual like competitions with like cash prizes and all that, where you ideally everyone on the team is like skilled and like taking things seriously or whatever. But yeah, I've never participated in a game jam of that high caliber, but yeah, they exist. Also, ideally, also these level chunks look more visually interesting, just having random holes in the floor and like that kind of. Anyway, so okay, this is just random thing over here. This wasn't the main thing I wanted to make for. So I want to, assuming this is somewhere super early, just showing, hey, enemies can die. That's a thing. Actually, I mean, let's actually, I'm gonna make this. Another thing to make this slightly more interesting. Rather than all of it being above, let's have like, actually, let's do this one. Just do one of these. Have one be below, because why not? Ooh. And delete another random block just because. Yeah, anyway, so we're just planning stuff. I don't know how interesting this particularly is to watch. I think when I was actually making stuff like the player and the enemies and all that, like that, different parts of game development I think are inherently more interesting or less interesting to watch. The initial idea was that I was going to be designing all these levels off stream and then just like come to stream being like, here's like 10 levels that I've drawn up, let's actually go and make them. But I have had very little time between streams to actually work on this stuff, but you know, that's just how it is. Especially that like I consider myself to not be great at level design. If I was a lot better at level design, I could just be like blah blah blah, here's levels, they're amazing, let's go. You know, that'd be cool, but like this is to a degree is me trying to get better at a skill that I'm not so great at. So that's also probably an extra layer of maybe not great to watch. I mean, I'm good right now. Me doing this, building level segments, is probably better than me just sitting like, what do we do? But yeah. And even just different games in general to different degrees, and gonna be easier or harder to level design for. I mean, this is a 2D game, top down, where it's like I'm basically just having to put stuff in different grid positions, which is significantly easier in theory than like, you know, level designing for a full-on big 3D game, which I'm working on one of those at the moment, the Handyman with a Unicycle, which I'll get back to at some point. But yeah. Anywho, so what I was saying was that another level chunk that I want to make is just the idea of having to. There's an enemy between you and where you want to go. Let's say the goal is up here or whatever, and somehow you got to lead an enemy into fire. It's like, how hard is that to do? Actually, just this, even just this being like, okay, I'm here and stuff. Okay, right. I have oh, there's 2 players, right? There's 2. So these will have holes around them, but I have to like manually define the holes because reasons. So ideally, we're playing this as if the enemy cannot leave the boundaries, and neither can I. Oh. I need like I might need something better. You know what I could do? You know, if there is a problem with like the enemies from the other chunks coming to say hi, I can just work on a new chunk like way off in the distance. Like, this chunk's done, move it over in the finished pile. So the idea, okay, the idea here is like, if this is a not super hard level in theory, ignoring the enemies will do that. Okay, I might define like, well. How can I set up a scenario that's like not super handholdy, but not super trivial to lead an enemy into a hazard? I mean, that would do it there, but like, the idea is like, yeah. Actually, if I just if I were to get rid of, let's say, have you be there, and I get rid of these. I mean, ideally, I don't want to necessarily design it around the fact that the player has to start in the center like that, because let's say 1, 2. 1, 2. Ideally, if this is part of other level chunks or whatever, they would be entering in from somewhere. So that's like, you know, they're coming down this corridor or whatever into this chaos. Well, but then, well, okay, actually, even the enemies themselves, I don't know how that's going to work, because, like, I don't have a system where, like, enemies come to life when you get close to them. It's kind of just assume that they're always moving, but, I do kind of have to design levels around that as well, but, you know, we'll see. There's, I was giving you a lot of levels, like, early on that won't even have enemies in it, but, yeah. Maybe Strength is probably designed like this. Wish I could land a job doing it. Yeah, this is, yeah, is something I agree is hard. Oh. Just realized that, a thing that I can do to like, I was like, oh, this seems like hard and janky to like actually lead an enemy or into this, but I just realized using some of my game mechanics to actually make it easier and not, especially for like a first time. If I just build that wall of stuff, if I just, okay, yeah. So a symptom of my game mechanics is that if I do this, he should not like that. If I stay on the path and just kind of go back and forth here, then yeah, he'll automatically, because if they're against a hole, then they'll like go around a little bit. Okay, so that's interesting how that works. I do want to, let's say I just put the player there for sake of the enemy having a little bit more time to sort of get closer. If the player just moves in this hole and does nothing else, the enemy will move into the hazard. That's like not super hard. It's not super, like, not a lot to it, but yeah, okay. And then you would go up to a goal of some kind, and having the ram blocks on the side just because. I mean, the other thing I can have is just like, there's a degree to which I can just have other hazards just thrown around the place. If I have a hazard in the corner like that, then enemy will definitely not be getting to that. So you'd be like, oh, if you move over there, like, you might die. I don't know. And I mean, whatever, right? That's not like great. Whatever. I was just the idea is to just bang out a bunch of as many of these as possible, and then just start, yeah, piecing stuff together and just seeing how how like, yeah, different ones of these can maybe just go together. I don't fully know how long particular levels will be. It could be the idea like you start here, that this is the entirety of one level, but then there's just a lot of them. I don't think I want levels to be that short per se, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. Let me just copy some of this down here now. Another scenario that I want to test was like leading an enemy into a hazard. I could have a more tough system of leading an enemy to a hazard. Ooh, actually, I like the idea. I just got the idea of. Hold on. If I do this real quick, I have a. And basically, I have some stuff in mind of some general level stuff I want to potentially happen in some level, and while I'm doing that, I'm hoping that like other new stuff will come to mind, and as soon as it does, I'm like, oh, let's just do this other new idea that I had. Part of doing this is both like, yeah, testing stuff out, and also using this for myself to be able to just randomly come up with new ideas that are using these game mechanics that we set up. Ideally, we're not programming anything new with this. We're using what we've already set up to make stuff. Oh no. Did you finish the unicycle or tag games? Those were really cool. So as much as I would love to say yes, no, but they are both on my to-do list of stuff to get back to someday. With the unicycle one is stuff I've put a lot of planning into. I get more progress has been made on that. I don't remember exactly the last stream that you saw with this game and what its kind of current state was in. So I can just load it up real quick and you can have a sneak peek at what we will eventually be returning to. The idea is, well, currently right now, I like did this thing as a fun like thing to do coming back into streaming, and then I have some other stuff I want to do where it's like I rambled about this at the beginning of the stream. It's like I have some gaps in my knowledge in Unity that I want to fill, so I kind of just want to do some streams where the entire point of the stream is like, I've never made, I'm going to use the same example from earlier, as like, I've never made in a game like a character doing a ledge grab, is like, grab a platform and then climb up. So making a Unity project where that's all it is. We have a character that just, you run up to a ledge and they ledge grab it. Like, that's all it is. I do that. It's not a full game. It's just a small little like chunk of game just to like, so that I can do that thing that I'm something I've wanted to do that I've never done before. That's a good example because in Hand Me with a Unicycle, and even potentially the tag game, actually, now that I think about it, it would be applicable there. I probably would want to have ledge grabbing be a thing, at least, especially in the tag game. Another thing, but the tag game would be cool to have ledge grabbing. It would make sense in that kind of context. So learning to do that kind of thing in like a small scale way, where I can just focus on that thing, and then apply it to some of my other stuff. Yeah, that's an example. There's definitely better examples, like a bunch of stuff like that. One thing is I've never like, okay, this is a more far off example, but like I've never made Steam achievements before, and I think if I make a game that I then want to put onto Steam, it'd be cool if it had Steam achievements. So just figuring out, I mean, that's a bit harder of a scenario to like do because putting something on Steam is like expensive and the whole process goes with that. But just the idea, or even achievements. Technically, I've never done like achievements in general, but I mean that's something where I'm like, I think I know how to do that, and I think I could do that in the context. I think if I were to make Steam achievements, I would just have the game also have its own built-in achievement manager thing, like or an achievement tab in its own menus, and then I would just also hook that up into Steam or whatever. That to me even just seems easier to build and set up and test, but yeah. Roma has a backlog of 2D games. I do, and it's so long. It's so many because so I've been doing game development for something like 8 years. I'd be off by a year or two. I haven't hit 10 years yet, I don't think. I keep starting games and then like, oh, here's a small idea. Now it's a gigantic idea that would take like a bajillion years to actually make. And then I look at it and like, oh, that idea's gotten like really big. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll make that game someday, but I'll put it off to the side for now. And then like, start a new thing that's even smaller and then finish that so that I finish something. And then this idea goes and also becomes equally as massive. And I'm like, okay, I'll put that one off to the side too, and then I'll start something else. And that's been my life for the last that's been my game basically. So making this is also a test of like making something small that I actually finish. That's another thing. If I finish this, then it's just one more thing I can put on my list of like actually did the thing and actually finish it, even if it is something small or whatever, and then slowly start to get back to some of those other projects, and even taking them, it's like, okay, yeah, I had this big idea for it, but maybe cut away at it, turn it back into something smaller, and then make that. So done or whatever. But then also being like, if I want to make something like that, there's definitely some skills I need to develop, so let me focus on, developing those skills. So it's a whole thing. But then also beyond making games, I also want to make YouTube videos, where I've made several that are neat, whatever. That falls into a couple categories of my tutorials, where I'm like teaching people how to do Unity stuff. I want to do more of those, and even like I'm currently experimenting with some different, like, I'll generically say styles of, like, the next one I'm gonna make. I'm gonna be doing in the next couple I'm gonna be experimenting with some stuff that I think would make them look more visually interesting and creative. And why do you have to add to grids? You should not have that. Did all the holes have that? Weird. I mean, technically, well, that doesn't technically break. It shouldn't. Wait, what? Why do some you do and some of you don't, or whatever? When I shift selected, you didn't. I mean, like, whatever. I'll get back to that. Actually, no. Technically, it doesn't break things in this planning thing, but when I go to making real levels, I should fix that anyway. What was I saying? So YouTube tutorial stuff, and then well, other thing, I mean, like development logs on games I'm making or whatever. But then also I want to experiment with making like Unity animations or even Blender animations and like some stuff with that. That part of that is going to be like cutscene practice for me to do for then real games like Hanging with the Unicycle. So that'll hopefully be interesting. But yeah, so I got a whole bunch of stuff that I want to do, and slowly I'm gonna be making that stuff as I find the time to. But yeah, that's that. Better than have a bunch of ideas. I have this super long list of ideas. Better than having no ideas, I guess. And yeah, that animation stuff is my next project. Very cool, very cool. Can't be using Mixamo for everything. Yeah. I mean, I'm one that tries to like make everything myself, even when I could be using, other like tools. Yeah, like Mixamo, I know being a thing. Although one problem I've had with Mixamo is that it's hard to like. I haven't been able to figure out a good way of like, if I'm like, get this animation from Mixamo, but then I also want the player to do this other custom animation. That doesn't really work. It's like either you use Mixamo and just use those animations, or you don't. I don't know. I maybe there's like better ways, but I couldn't like, because then you have to use like the skeleton that you get from that. So if you made your own Blender model with its own skeleton, like you can't like mix the two very well. I mean, you could for like two different NPCs, but like for one NPC that's doing stuff. But yeah. I've used Mixamo a little bit, but not like super huge amount. But yeah, that's yeah. Anywho, so what was oh no, what was I trying? Oh, never mind, I remember. I just wanted to try like you start a level in the middle or something, and you have enemies coming at you from both directions. Just wanted to, and then having to leave. Like then there's only one thing. If I start the level now, I'll die. I do have to be conscious that when I go into play mode, my starting direction is up, and probably not gonna like change that. So, I mean, I say that I can't easily. The idea as well is all of these level things don't necessarily have to be like, up as the thing. I can take this and turn it sideways. I mean, okay, the enemy's kind of bright. If I just do that, but then unrotate the, those, and that's like good enough. Ever mess with mocap animations at all? Oh no, something doesn't like that. Hold on, I'll answer your question in a second. I see the problem. I see that. You need to move 0.5. Somehow it moved like, 0.5 over. Weird. Didn't pivot it around the right thing. So no, because I don't have any of the technology with which to do that, but I do think that technology is very cool, and it would be cool to experiment with at some point. I do have like, so like I have experimented with. Where is it? Let me find thing. Like I bring this up every stream, and every time it's a problem. I have this. There's a thing that I made. Woo. Okay, I mean, played with also the background music. So this is the thing I made that has like an animated me. It'd be really cool if like I mocapped to that and made stuff with that. But like, yeah, technology and expensive. Yeah, but then also, I mean, there is some limitations to that. If I were animating a character like that with mocap, there's certain things that I couldn't necessarily do. Like if I want this guy to do a backflip, jump 10 feet in the air. Although, I mean, with something like that, you can potentially fake it. Like, you know, I mocap myself just jumping, and then I take that and I tweak it and turn it into a backflip. But then I'd worry about how that would, like, that might not look well at all. If that would just look like it'd be very obvious when it goes from being real to being, then, like, you know, turned into a backflip or whatever. But, although that would just come from, like, practice, I guess, but... using just your webcam, you can mocap using Unity Barracuda. Oh yeah, right. So yeah, there's two branches of, I guess, mocap type deals with, like, one, you have the physical, all the things on your body that you use in, like, kind of movies and stuff, and then, whoa, technology. But yeah, I guess some options that, like, I guess it's getting better with, like, you know, facial recognition and whatnot. Yeah, but I wasn't aware of any, like, good free options. So yeah, Barracuda, that might be something I might look into at some point. I mean, I can't imagine myself using something like with that, with how big my list of stuff that I want to do is. I don't necessarily think I'd be immediately adding something else onto that list, but you know, we'll see. I mean, it would be cool to, like, if I have characters talk in a game, not having to do, like, lip sync would be kind of cool, I guess. But man, you know, we'll see. But I know that specifically can be something that's super tedious or whatever. If I specifically, you know, animated a character, but, like, I could do the lip sync myself, that'd be great. But even just the setup to do that, and getting it to not look janky, I imagine, yeah. Even that I could make some stuff easier could also just introduce its own problems. But totally, it could be interesting to throw with. And hello, Francesco. Hello, welcome. We are doing, or attempting some level making-y stuff. Yeah. Woo. Also, Lightning Stripes is here, another person from way back when, in ye old streaming days. Yeah, it's cool how many people have, why are you still off? I specifically moved, oh, did I just, I corrected you on one axis, but not all of them. Also, I don't know when you became 0, but yeah, okay, bleh. And then, hold on, 1 second, yeah. It's cool, in my first week of streaming, just how many people from, when I was streaming before, yeah, still, like, came around. Very cool. Why did, oh, right, because you're, you came from up there. Hold on, let me just move you way on over where. Back when Rowan didn't deny us his majesty. What? Yeah, oh, hold on. So this is the thing. Once this person is, like, only 1 square away, it's really hard to get away from them unless there's other stuff in the level to make that happen. So I'm just curious if I could set up a situation where enemies are coming at you from 2 sides and you gotta, like, can I make that work? I mean, I can have, there's a degree to which I can have them be 2 different distances away. Like, if one's a lot further, just pretend that there's squares there. Then you can lead one in and then wrap around real quick. I mean, I guess. Actually, I mean, if I were to do that, I'd rather this one be the further one, just so that part of the level design would be that you'd have to quickly get on this side, lead him over, and then quickly get on this side, lead him over. I mean, I guess. I can guess that. It doesn't feel that much like you're leading them into something as, like, just getting on the right side at the right time, which is, like, I mean, yeah, I guess that works, but, like, I mean, also I can, let me see. Let me experiment with some things. I mean, is this? This environment might be a bit too small for this. I don't know if, like, if I'd get a better results out of, you know, having more space. And if I did something like this, I don't know. This thing with level design is that you can experiment with things. So let's see that. Oh wait, the whole part of doing that was that this enemy would then start here, which then means I need to actually define some of these holes, because that's the point of that. And then there, and then, like, technically I don't need holes in the corners. In theory. I'm just gonna do this so that you don't move up. Get around there. Actually, just because I can, you're gonna start like. Actually, you're gonna start. Let's start the player there, just for funsies, and then. Oops. Actually, I was gonna have them both coming from corridors, but actually, I don't hate the idea of, like, yeah, starting like a little, like, mini box that has, like, that to it. Okay, I forget whatever I was rambling about before. So, whoops. Yeah, I don't need the corners, so I'm just gonna not put them because. And I didn't put all the bottom. I don't need to define the holes completely right now. I just need to find like just the bare minimum. How did you die? Shouldn't have been able to do that. What? Is there something else here? What the what? Excuse? Why did you decide that that was your best move? Can the player go in there? I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and say that it has something to do with that. If I remove the add to grid from the prefab, which is weird, then I'll go back out and then this one won't have this weird extra one. Let's just see if that... I'll have to fix that properly at some point. Let me just see if that... No! Why? We did so much to make the enemies not be broken. Does it have to do with that I, like, rotated everything? Oh, no. Let me test something. If the player is, like, up, is it specifically that hole for some reason, or will you do this on any hole? No, you're just moving straight at me. Is it gonna happen if I, like, do this? Will you move against that? That's being weird. Because you're dereferencing a null pointer, of course. I'm an idiot. Hold on, I'm an idiot. So no. I fooled myself. You see, the code is working completely properly. I specifically said many times before that this is expected behavior. I don't know how I forgot that just now. You can lead enemies into holes. That was entirely the point. So no, I was like, why is everything breaking now? It's almost like I specifically wrote code so that specific thing would happen. Who would have thought? Yeah, I need walls here. You're supposed to be able to lead enemies into holes because just that's how I set it up. I went on I've done big rants onto why specifically that is that way. Yeah, okay, anyway. So actually, yeah, I was curious to test more with... that means so okay, crossing is dangerous. I feel like I don't know if I want. If I like lengthen how long it takes you to get there. Actually not what I was going for, but you know, I mean, I could have like, you know, just here's multiple coming. I mean, how many enemies there is more about like more governs like if I have like here's this level, a bunch of stuff is coming at you. This becomes super hard. Okay, I did. Hold on. You ignore the like haphazard of like what some is wall and some isn't. Like, yeah, it's fine. I have the perfect vid for that. What are you referring? I don't know what you're referring to. Check Discord. Oh no. Well, I think everyone who took C++ in college does. I did a bit of C++. Oh god, what am I looking at? It's fine for me to play on stream. Actually, I don't recognize this video, but well, okay. Wait, I can... I guess we're watching memes now. Hold on. This is music from Pac-Man World 2. I recognize that before I even looked at it. What am I looking at here?
Come on, you guys. There it is, right there in front of you the whole time. You're dereferencing a null pointer. Open your eyes.
Not a null pointer. Okay. Anything but that. Okay, yeah. I'm guessing like that's just something as the no, yeah, it's fine, yeah. Video is referencing. I don't know how, I've never seen that, but I can see the fact that it's probably some old popular meme just from how old the video is being, you know, yeah, something's probably decently widely referenced. I guess I just don't use C++ enough. My mistake. Anyways, okay, this is probably overkill. I probably shouldn't. I have to remember when I'm designing levels that like it's not me that's gonna be playing. Like I'm so-called good at my own game because I specifically designed it and the rules and the interactions and stuff, and that yeah, what's hard for me has the potential to be just absolutely brutal for anybody else. And even right now, I'm like dying in my own thing. Actually, I don't even see what the proper... I don't even see what proper strategy is. Hey, I did it. Woo! Oh, it's giant enemy. I was like, what the heck is that? Yeah, he came down from the test level to say hi. Kermit lives in a cave somewhere in the rural Canadian mountains. Totally, yep, absolutely. No, actually, I live in an igloo. That's why the walls are white. Yeah, no. I'm Canadian. Yeah, Francesco is Canadian. It's like, am I truly Canadian if I'm not drinking maple syrup on stream and like having a pet polar bear and a big Canada flag in the background, of course. Okay, so this is like, I set this up and I was like, yeah, whatever. I feel like this is a bit too spastic, where you just gotta, it felt like more like you're just hoping you're moving in the right places at the right time. Also, I haven't been using much of like the other things. This is like 3 chunks where I'm just like, here's just fire, but then also enemies. Where I haven't really like have all of these other things that to use. I should be using them. So I'm gonna maybe like delete you and just, I shouldn't get too common. This should just be like a 2. The point of the initial idea with testing this was being like, here are enemies coming from 2 directions, and here's a hazard. Actually, you know what? This is I should use holes instead of the fire hazard to be like lead them into the hole, and we pretend like going up there is like the goal. Well, but then you can't like get up there. So let's say, oh no, you're too close now. Yeah, it's hard that, yeah, if they're so close, then it's hard to get away from them. Lead this guy into a hole, and I mean the other guy's also coming. Oh, not if I go the wrong way. And this would just move to the right, and then like. Hold on. Maybe I'm gonna. How do I want to? Let's say you come from above. Let's just pretend that being a thing. And then like, then it's way easier to get that one if you just move the right way, and then you can get that one. That's interesting how that works. Oh, no, get back here. Oh, this is a big guy. The more turns I wait, the more like every other enemy is slowly coming by. Yeah, there is that like point where it seems to become very hard to like, it's like, oh, I can't get into the hole. Guess we're just going around in circles because I so-called failed. I don't think it should necessarily be like that. But clearly, Francesco, you knew the reference. You must live in a higher end part of Canada. Wait, did the C++ reference thing, what does that have to do with Canada? Also, I'm just gonna keep seeing, how are you getting there so fast? I'll move you down just to be more distance. Crew igloos are our most formidable form of housing, with Trudeau as politics, yeah. Okay, if I do this, then you'll die, right? Well, no. Yeah, so it's like, there's no easy way for me to remedy this situation, unless, like, how about I actually use some of the other game mechanics I designed? Isn't that your crazy idea? Let's just throw a rock thing in there, because that has the interesting property of, like, you have to be on the right frame. Oh, well, I have to actually move down into it. Wait, the player wasn't doing the dying animation. Oh, no, okay, it did there. Then this can become a, I'm so close to it. Oh. That. This specific tile is the solution to, oh, hey, I killed it. That type of tile is the solution to, like, oh no, an enemy's like right behind me, is just chasing me around. I can even kill this with it. Haha, take that, you. So let's say like this is the level, and like up here would be the goal. So I mean, technically I would then design like, one out, only you. Like, you go like, 2 more blocks up. So this could, this could be a level. This could maybe be a level in and of itself. We'll see. Let's just say that that's a thing, and move on to what else. I do want to. More to do with you living under a rock, and being a person of great taste. A person of great taste to my references, lol. Yeah, that's. I think I know some references to things. I don't know how I'm a programmer and didn't know that reference specifically. I mean, I've dealt with C++ and null pointers plenty in the past, but I mean, I don't use C++ that much. Okay, let me specifically now start targeting actually using some of these other game mechanics that I just have been lacking on, because I need to actually do that and not have the entire game just be enemies and like one other thing. So let's make some enemies that I'm let's make some chunks of levels I'm specifically saying are not going to have enemies in it. So, hold on. So, only one player at a time, please. Okay, let's go down here to like, I could do stuff with, so actually, as a, two things I want to, I guess, experiment with. These sort of, what could be like the introduction to how these guys work, these, a level where it's more like player get from beginning to end, but like go around a bunch of these blocks. Oh, I haven't done anything with the rolling boulders too. I do know I want to do some stuff with that. I think like we'll have a I don't know when, like how late in the game we'll introduce just enemies at all. Not super late, but I think we'll have quite a few levels at the beginning. Actually, I shouldn't delete those. Quite a few levels at the beginning that'll basically just be player moving around hazards just to get used to how the game is. So let me design some kind of like, yeah, like a get from beginning to end kind of deal. Just bleh, and then bleh, and then like, okay, I don't need, let me just define more of like a room. Oh, that's not what I'm trying to do, but whatever, it's fine. You're gonna copy the player too, but like, whatever, it's fine. Game design. Okay, so let's say, so what do I want out of here? If I have, I mean, one other thing that I can do with this, I can have two pieces of debris be out of sync and like do stuff with that. Ooh, that's actually kind of interesting. Is the idea of like having to kind of snake around through a bunch of these that are, yeah, as I said, out of sync, and almost like a maze of knowing. There's no way this is gonna actually, like, in practice, I bet this isn't gonna work, but let me just experiment with it and make every other one the other way around. And then, like, and then, like, as if there's, ooh, level stuff over this way. And we're pretending that around here is holes that I just haven't made yet. Let me just mess around with this for a second. So now this becomes this. Is this too hard to, like, tell what's going on? I mean, this is, okay, I mean, this is more like just move through the things at the right time. You're not really having to, once you're in it, then you're fine. That's kind of why I want to maybe say, like, they aren't all fine. You gotta be like, you gotta, like, just for a level, be like, which ones are actually going the right way. So, I mean, this could be like, oh, if you go here, it's the goal, but actually, you need to go around for it to be the right way around. Off, on, off. Yeah. Or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making random stuff, throwing random things at the wall, and seeing what sticks. So this is like, yeah, if I moved up to this one, I'm just gonna die. There could also be, no, I can't really have bashing against a wall while you're in this. There is also the idea built to sort of purposely hit up against a wall. Oh wait, I didn't set you up properly. Purposely hitting against a wall to, purposely hitting up against a wall to like waste turns if you're just waiting for something to happen. I should actually have that in some of the, like, leading an enemy into stuff, there's like a wall, or holes, I guess, to be able to just hit up against to sort of speed things up. I mean, yeah, this is a little thing. I don't know if I'm like super happy with this. I feel like something like this could be implemented better, but well, okay, well, let me do like a slightly bit more with this. Let's say I do something where like, and even this beginning of it doesn't really make sense for how you're like going onto it. It should kind of be, I mean, there are duplicates of all these? Oh, there's doubles of all of these somehow. No, don't delete that. But not you. But yes, you, okay, I can pretend I know how I did that. Let's say a player starts here and they have to like, let's have like a little bit more of a corridor. Player starts, and it's like, you know, whatever. Well, have a little bit more like the, yeah, not so uniform, just like whatever little jutting out things. So I wanted to maybe do something where I guess I'll put it like after this point. I want something where you somehow have to like hit against a wall on purpose to like go one sync the other way as far as the turns are concerned to then like get on a block. Okay, so I can actually do it just like this. This could just be a finale like this. Yeah. If you move directly where you need to be, and maybe let's just use other things because why not? There should be variety in hazards. If I'm only using one type of hazard per like chunk, like that's not as interesting as it could be. If actually use all the things because we made them. There can just be a random fire hazard here because why not? Like, don't move into it or you're gonna die. And have some of that variety just because. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. Let you be a hole, but like here you have to turn once you're going straight. And yeah, you do that. So if this is in the this is off on off on off. Put you the other way. Wait, so this wasn't off and this wasn't on. If some things I'm saying aren't making sense, that's hopefully they'll make sense in a second. Once I'll say you go down. I don't have to have it always going up. It can go down. So let's say so that we have this as a thing. Okay, yeah, I have to actually time that right. So this can be part of like, yeah, if I go, whoa, pretend I didn't leave. I actually have to go in. No, not there. Oh, wait a minute. At this point, I am perfectly in sync with like whichever one I moved on there, I would die. So I'd have to like not be that way. Interesting. So I would need a wall or something to hit off of there to be out of sync. But let's say I start over here just to. So that means I'm always in sync for getting on the first one. It's just interesting mechanics of how it works. So whichever one I go on first, I'm so-called safe as long as I don't hit into a wall. And I have to go around here. Now, if I move straight into this, I die. Yes. So you had to purposely, in theory. Whoa. You have to purposely go and hit into the wall on purpose for one frame. I don't know. It's something like that. I think it's mildly interesting as a mechanic. Okay, so if this is gonna exist, I'm gonna put. The idea would be this would be surrounded by walls and holes. So actually, you would have more to bash off of to get yourself in and out of sync or whatever. But I'm just not gonna. I mean, in some contexts, walls and holes are different and they serve different purposes. In other contexts, like this here, they use the exact same purpose. So it doesn't matter which I use to surround the level. So then I can, because of that, I can have more variety with just have some of them be walls, have some of them be holes. Like, it doesn't matter. Just, yeah. Even on the actual edges of the map, like this. Yeah, let's run this just because we're... replace this one. Have it be a wall. Because... I should be having more, like... I meant to be having, like, more holes actually, like, in the middle of the map, but, With that being said, I'm gonna maybe, like, if this is like this could be a hole here. But I still wanted this fire hazard somewhere. If I do this, then it's like, oh, you gotta move around. I don't know. Well, no. In this context, I actually think I will keep it clear. I'll go back to just this because as soon as you hit off of something, you're going out of sync with this. I kind of want the starting position as long as you make every turn right, and this is easy to not sort of mess up a turn, then it'll kind of stay in sync with the first of going on these. And this doesn't need to be around. It could just be, like, it could start here. This is just for funsies. Anyway, okay. Level segment, that honestly, this could just be an entire level on its own, but, like, whatever. I don't know how much I'm going to combine these versus just letting some stuff be its own entire level. And if I do say this is an entire level, I might add a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end, rather than a whole chunk of these. But we'll see. The whole point of this is just experiment with random stuff and, like, yeah, throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and I don't know what will really be used or what will be thrown out entirely. Yeah. What time is it? It's 12:04. Unfortunately, I do have to stop earlier than I would like to today. I do ideally need to stop around 12:30 because I gotta be up quite early tomorrow, and I don't want to be extremely tired. Okay, so next thing I want to do is, I haven't been using these boulders at all. I already have at least one idea for, like, let's say two, actually. I have two ideas for just, like, the kind of, an idea of how they can be used in potentially interesting ways. Okay. First I just need to design, like, I know I want some of these. I'm not deleting everything because I just need, like, some of these foundational blocks. But let me just get them out so I can copy them, and then I can start like deleting and kind of get back to a starting kind of grid shape and then go from there. Okay. So what I want, actually, let's put that up. What I wanted, a couple of these going up, was just to have, and the whole, these basically need arrows too. They don't need arrows. Actually, I'm gonna combine two things kind of together here. I want a boulder that's just going So I guess I'll quickly just. Why are you not rotating? I'm rotating the blue block underneath. No. Then you do this. I do still, and you're also rotating the blue block underneath. How about you don't do that, please? Give me this. So now with this, I need to. I do have to manually still define the directions. I don't have it like automatically take in its rotation and then do stuff with that, which in theory that should be a thing that I have it do, but that can be a kind of bit of polish that we do a bit later. So before I go any further, let me just double check this is working. Oh, I have to define the initial direction of the boulder itself. Yep. Which the boulder also ideally would have an animation that looks like it's rolling rather than just copying the player's like stretched forward animation. But yeah. Okay, so just I want one of those just to be like get through this and like don't die and stuff. You don't have to go up the center necessarily though. Maybe I purposely have the player start kind of off center so that it's up to them to potentially want to center themselves with what's up here. And maybe I go like throw a wall there because reasons. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with half of this. I pretend that I do. So I have this. I then also want to have like I'm gonna put it up a little bit more. Ooh, actually, okay. I'm gonna do a slight extension on the idea that I was just having. Was just that if I put walls here and here. Oh, I didn't actually. You're going to the right. You are right, and you. I'll potentially test with like how these need to be formatted. But they'll bounce off of walls, so they're gonna basically go boop, 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 and that can just be a thing to get past. Let me just see what the timing is on getting past these. Actually, before I do anything else, I want to put walls here so that to use to purposely bang off of. Actually, I'm gonna put a thing here. That forces it. You can't go up the center. Do I want to force that you can't go up the center? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't just for this, but I'll put you up ones that you're like that. Having walls to purposely be able to bounce off of to get turns to pass, which can be bad if, you know, a bunch of enemies are chasing you or whatever. So now I can use this to decide when I want to go. And is there any good time? Not up the center. I don't think... Oh, whoa, right. Player is still, like, over here. Yeah. Stop that. It's 50-50s which player it's gonna grab to move, which is... So... How would I... Oh, wait, no. So, okay. In this case, to problem solve my own puzzle, you'd have to wait against a wall there. That's mildly interesting. Because of that, this almost makes me want to be like, this is like the third of sort of 3 boulder-related tests. Where I want one that's just, if you go at the right time, you just go through it all at once. Where this is one where you have to wait, which I think is interesting, but also I'm just going to put a hole there. Because, no. Hole here and here because reasons. Actually, slightly more interesting. Okay, so how do I set this up so that like it's still 2 going left and right, but you I mean I could just do it like this, where it's like there's the one gap in between, but then like put you here and going, and then make this one go left. I guess I don't know. Let's just see what that looks like. But ideally, it should be like if you go at the right time, you will make it through it. And then yeah, I can use this wall to kind of. Okay, I mean, I floundered there and still lived. Oh, so here I would need giant enemy. Why did that, like, slightly startle me? Just be like, it's suddenly just coming out of nowhere, coming to kill me. Wait, how is that large enemy getting here? That large enemy shouldn't be able to, oh, the borders of the map of this test area are not defined correctly. They're defined correctly, but, like, if I do this, then that enemy will not be able to escape because of the large enemies need 2x2 holes like this to die. But I don't need 2x2 holes along the edge of the map because the player is not going to be at the edge of the map. But for this little thing, just so these guys don't escape, just for now, I'll trap them there with that. So in theory, I shouldn't see the large enemy. The other enemies are still going to be on their way, but yeah. Okay, I wasn't done with that yet. I wanted to actually, as I said, if I time it right, then I can go through it all in one go, and then this, I gotta blah, but then wait, and then go. Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. That is slightly more interesting than the like initial idea that I had before that, so I think that's cool. And then in theory, then this would just kind of go up and then to whatever goal that you're going to. I mean, it doesn't have to be up. It doesn't have to be up. It can be like off to the side. You know, here's the goal because why not? Having the wibbly wobbliness, I think, is good. Okay, so let me also, with some of this, let me just wait. Why did I put? I think. Oh no, I don't know. I had a completely a different idea where I'd want to be using the fire for. Okay, I don't need to put in all the holes. Just like around some of the places where you're more likely to hit them, just while I'm planning. But then in the real thing, I need to fully surround the map. Okay, this goes in the. Actually, I'm gonna duplicate this right now. Put you down here. Good. This goes, I guess, right now the left is just being my, like, graveyard of potentially designed things. So far this is going, like, decent. This isn't like, still feel like I'm just floundering around throwing random stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, but, like, yeah, it's so far so fine. So what I want to do next is this. I want to set up some kind of a thing like this. Hold on. I want to set up basically something that's like up over a big line kind of deal where let's say I don't want. Ideally, these sort of beginning areas shouldn't be like the same every time. So I just like even just like moving like 2 blocks like that. Like this just feels like a different kind of start. I'm actually gonna use this to my advantage to do something. I need a big thing that like loops around the map that is this chunk of level. And then you even let's say we do. What I'm doing is will make sense in a second when I actually bother to explain it. You'll see in a minute. Ooh. I gotta the idea I was gonna design, that I'm in the middle of trying to design, just got slightly more interesting by thing I wasn't initially even planning on doing. If I do, hold up, it'll make sense in a minute. I mean, I could just explain what I'm doing rather than keeping it like a surprise, but okay, I just need a box. And then like, hold on. You'll see it in 2 seconds, and then it'll all make sense. This straight line. Okay, the magnificent idea is to put fire. Why is that? You know what? Fine. You can be like that. No. You there and there. The idea is so the player can't go around all this. The player has to go through all this. The idea is to have boulders that are rolling a big kind of patrol route like this. So the player basically has to keep up sort of being between 2 boulders the whole way. And see how that goes. I'll need arrows, but I'll get to that. No, I'll do the arrows now. Well, I mean, I might change the path, but be like that. And I should change the. It'll be easier if I like change their direction as I make them. Okay. So then it's like you gotta. This then becomes a test of like you basically have to follow the path and you can't mess up and sort of hit a wall once or you're gonna die. Is part of the point of this. Which means that this can be this isn't that hard to do. Like, it can be an earlier level. I do need a mix of stuff that's, like, not that bad and stuff that's, you know, more tricky. Even just stuff that's early on, just to kind of, you know, allow the player to, like, get used to the kind of mechanics of the game. Oh, I just said that, like, while I'm placing these, I should set up what way they're actually going, and then I totally just didn't do that, but... well. And then, over here, in theory, the player doesn't see much of over here, so the patrol path doesn't matter. They can see up here, they can be like, bloop, 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 just to see the, I don't know, boulder coming in. Oh, yeah. Actually, I think I'm gonna take this and move it, like, one more over, just... Okay, so then... Okay, and then you... Nah. Okay, I mean, now I have to do the thing that I said I was going to do and then didn't. Although I don't know if I should actually be testing this patrol path for... Well, no, I need to set up the arrows before I can test that the patrol path is working. I could shift select all of the ones that are a particular direction and then change them all at once. That would be faster. So now all the left ones... I started with left ones. All the left ones are going to be set up properly. So now all the ones that are facing right... Gotta actually select the arrows for it to work. And then this is the only one going up. Well, I guess these ones are also going up. Did I get them all? I think, hopefully. So saying the goal is around here somewhere. I don't know if the goal, like the goal of a level should be right on the edge, or if it should be more like, if this is the goal, it's actually like surrounded by a full thing, but I guess they can vary from level to level. Okay, so pretending there are holes all around this that I would, in theory, define. Okay, so if these are good, I'm gonna then have to... Will I be able to get away with just, here, let me define, set up the first two boulders over here, and then these are both going up. Actually, I'll just quickly do this. I think I can set up being, like, in this chain of one away. So pretending that that's going the whole way around, like, so I can't get ahead of it. Pretending I have to, like, wow, I messed that up twice. Okay. Hold on, I'm in the wrong. I need to set up. Where's my walls? I need walls to be able to press against to be on the same square, but like letting it turn past to be able to actually get on the thing. Oh, also I wanted to try putting fire here. So the boulder's going through fire, but the player has to go around, and then that's just a thing that gets to happen. Ideally, there's no wall here. I don't know how that's gonna work. We're gonna find out. Because then the point is to be able to like this. The point of what's happening right now is to have to go without, like, you can't make any mistake hitting off of like the holes up and down, or you will die. So it's like, do the things. Don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. And then what happens if I do this? Then I will die. Oh, I guess that arrow wasn't set up right properly. Yep, missed it. I don't know what to do with this, though. I mean, I can have... I mean, like, but if I have a wall there, then it removes the sense of... It removes the urgency of, you know, go through all of this without, like, in one shot without, like, or you'll die. How do I, like, I mean, I can't, Now, this is like a looming threat coming down at you, but then I can't, like, as easily count for that. If I had, like, another thing, of, like, a boulder that's, like, in a patrol going up and around, but then I can't easily confirm that, like, when the player is here and I'm forcing them to move up, that the boulder isn't going to be there. I guess I could have it go down and over, but then... Okay, well, maybe I could do that. Hold on. Me, Well, hold on. Okay, there's potential options that I have. Okay, I moved that. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Ignore my failing to move things. If I basically made the same thing up here as down here, then I could potentially have more boulders here and like here. And then surely one of them will be in a good spot by the time you get there. Wait, well, you need to move up and over. I can't, if I do that, then you're in the way. If you hit off this wall, that doesn't work. So if this could go one more over. I mean, I can do that. I can quickly just, I have to go over, down. I can have, hold on. I'm trying to just, bleh, this, have a gap between it. Level design, whoa. And then if I do this, then this can go up one more, have this kind of a gap. Same with here. Is interesting when like doing this level design, it has to have certain logistics where like I can't have block here and here, otherwise it like messes with stuff. Actually, I'm curious if then, as I said, not having symmetry can be cool. I was gonna have like just these being the same, but like have this one go slightly more over this way and just see what that does. Gotta head out. Good to see you again. All right, Lightning Strikes. Well, thank you for dropping by. Yeah, next time you see me, hopefully this game will be closer to completion, or maybe even done. Who knows? And then a whole bunch of other stuff I'll be hopefully working on afterwards. So yeah, look forward to that. But yeah, thanks for dropping by. Okay, then holes. I just need to set up the. Come down here, you. And I'm gonna delete that fire. That doesn't need to be there. And then blarg, and then blarg, and then blarg, and then there. So if you're left and then you're left. So surely, like, you can maybe see with the boulder, like, one of these will be in it. Wow, actually, that means if you're going up, the boulder has to be here or you will run. No. If it's ahead of you, you just have to go down at the right time. I mean, so, okay, I don't know if this will work out or if you go at the wrong time, you're just going to be doomed. But, in theory, this one is, you're less likely to so-called be doomed. But, actually, no. If it's like one, there's a slight bit more leniency if you're waiting for the block to be in a certain position, moving up and down in the same spot. You could actually move all like up and down. Okay, so this can potentially be tricky, but I'm more like it's more likely to not be completely unfair in theory. Okay, so let me just test that out. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna find out. So pretending that these boulders are, once this is working, then I'll like duplicate the boulders going like all the way around. Well, I gotta hope that the path's actually an even number of spaces, otherwise it's not gonna work. Also, I just totally didn't. So if I do this, I'm like, oh, I can't, mess up. I mean, these can either be one space apart, or I could have it be 2 spaces apart. So you basically have like one frame that you can mess up a single time, and then you'll be fine. The boulder's left. Oh, right, the boulders die to holes. Yes, the boulders fall in holes and die. Specifically can't use those. See, another difference between walls and... but then you can't... The player can't press against these walls to waste turns because the boulders be coming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, now that I've made a bunch of mechanics that I'm in theory, oh no. So again, okay, this will not be a thing that happens in real levels. We're just gonna pretend that it's fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you can hopefully not get messed over by that. I didn't test if I were to move perfectly, will I move down into Path of Boulders? Yes or no. Blah 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 da da da, and then yeah, and then yeah, and hoo. And then, so this is bad. Oh, okay, but it wasn't that bad. And then, okay, so if my moves are, well, I don't know if my moves are perfect, but like, I didn't hit into a wall, so like my moves didn't get like offset, so that I would land in the same boulder position that I was in. However, I think I like the idea of having this be one, like further apart, having boulder 2, boulder 2, boulder 2. So you get one mistake almost, how this is being treated. And then that allows me to almost make this an earlier level. So let's try. I'm happy enough with that. Let me try now. Just kind of, I have to make sure I get it right. That I paste these all around and yeah. I don't like this being on the fire. I don't know if that's gonna cause any issues, but hopefully it'll be fine. You're here and then you're there. And then we're also about to find out, like, I mean, is this gonna wrap around perfectly, yay or nay? If it doesn't, then I might be able to just quickly change the path somewhere to, like, make it work better. Okay. So no, it didn't. But like, I mean, I could let like right here be like off, and then it'll move away, and yeah, but I mean, ideally it'd be a perfect. Is there any quick change? Like, so first of all, let me double check that I mess up anywhere. Because it's the whole thing. So it's like 1, 2, block 1, 2, boulder 1, 2, rock 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 1, 2, rock. No, so it seems good. Other than that, there's this conundrum here. So how can I? Is there an easy way I can quickly sort this out? So so I'm essentially missing one. I just make this total path 1 block longer, then I can do that. Which I could do if I just had one more step basically. But if I moved this over to do that, then I'm adding 2. Like taking this, like moving it over. If I needed to add 2, that'd be easy. How do I add 1? So again, well, moving this down and then adding kind of a step. And ideally, I don't extend the path here because the player is not really seeing this, or it's like very far off screen. So it's like, why bother? Here, I think it's more fine because the player can at least see it, so it's more like a little visual thing. Why am I not seeing a good way to do this? Can I like? Because any way that I alter the path will then potentially make it like harder as well. So I'm trying to also keep in mind, like, if I add another bit of like it going around in arrows, is that gonna make things harder? I'm also gonna delete this over here because I don't need it. Why am I not seeing the best way of doing this? I don't know. Hold on. Okay, so if I move this to here, that doesn't change the number of blocks. Oh, I'm like zoomed in, so it was like going through the rocks a little bit because of they're spheres. Which actually, these, so even though this is like a 2D game, but you're viewing it kind of 3D-ified, if I can make this like textured, then I can just have it actually roll, and then that'll be super easy to have the animation of it rolling look decent. Can I not? How do I mean, it doesn't matter that much. I could just let, you know, if I let the one up here be the one that's like out of sync, then like the player's not really gonna notice because, yeah. So unrelated, kind of. I have just noticed that if the player starts in here, this does almost lock in that this is a level, unless this goes off over here and then has some stuff. If I were to combine this with another level chunk, I'd have to have that be in here, or I'd have to alter this to, like, instead of the player starting in the middle of this, have the player start from like out here and then go down into it. Interesting. So that being said, I might quickly purposely flip this so that the player does start from the so-called outside, so that it'll be like easier to do. I don't have to. I could just say this is a level, but like, or I mean, I could have one of the super tiny things, like anything that's like super tiny like this. Like you just go forward and jump. It's like, hey, you can jump over fire. Have that you go up that lane and then or here and then go up. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll keep it in here. I guess it's like not the worst thing. If I shifted this over, if you started here, that's just moving this there. That just, why am I struggling to see how I would, why am I struggling to see how I'd alter this I need to add 1. You know what, fine, since I can't think of it, I'm spending too long trying to come up with this. We'll just let over here be the one that's like weirdly off, but the one that's like past where you'd be going into. So, but, actually, have it be like over here, so it's even less likely to be like, really seen. Actually, if I might combine this with a thing that like goes down, giving that a few frames to like move up or whatever, then move up and away. So now if it's wait, how is it 2 that are off? That what? Like 1 2 blah, 1 2 blah, 1 2 blah, 1 blah, and then 1 2. So that should be here. Oh no, I have to like then move a bunch of stuff down for then I guess not that makes sense. It goes here. And then it's good. Okay. 1 blah, blah, blah. I mean, it annoys me that like I can't get this to be a perfect path. Like surely there's like a way. I'm just being dumb and can't think of it, but oh well. Whatever, it's fine, it doesn't matter that much, but it does matter to me. No, whatever. So, okay, with this being a thing, I do now need to... I did a little bit of tedious work of just now going through and adjusting all the bulges be facing the right direction. But I can shift select a lot of them, hopefully to just quickly speed that up. So these all need to start going left. And get all the ones that are up. 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 Oh wait, the default of the one that I copied is up. So I can skip all the up ones, they're already facing the right direction. So all the ones that are going right, which are these... yeah, all these going right, and the ones that are going down, which is this one. Wait, these ones are this should be going right because it just switched to going right. Blah blah, and then this one's also going right. Yeah. Okay. Down. I didn't change you. This one also down. Okay, much for shift selecting them, but yeah, okay. They might all be good now. I'm gonna go to play mode, but then go back to the scene, so just so I can see them moving around. Oh, well. Or I'm gonna throw a wall in front of the player real quick, just so I can see. Are these all going the way they should? Yeah. Oh, wait. Something happened over here, but I'll fix that in a second. Interesting. Yeah, they're cool. Right. Is this one right? Down. Pause and then try to quickly just see what happened. Which one moved the wrong way? No, don't do that. Oh, you're moving. No, you're moving right. Which one? How did one get a? Did one get out of sync? I swear one did, but oh, it's up here. Oh, yeah, there's one that's like flying away. This one's up when it should be left. Okay, yep, there it is. Now they should all be good. In theory. Oh, it's 12:32. No! Oh, okay. I'm unfortunately at the end of my time here, but we at least finished this. This is cool and all. Yay! I guess I'll give it one last test of going through it. As another mechanic, I guess. We didn't get in. We haven't even gotten in all the mechanics yet. Of like, I haven't built a chunk of level with every mechanic that we've made. We haven't done anything with the large enemies. Although I don't think there will be that many. Whoa. Well, okay, we're gonna pretend that that didn't happen. Oh, okay, I died anyway. I don't think there's gonna be that many levels with the large enemies. Ideally, they're gonna be introduced like near the end of the game. You go through a lot of this with all these things, these other hazards and enemies and stuff. But then, which that's another thing. Having to kill an enemy with a rolling boulder would be interesting. That's something that I have done. There should ideally, which would be like a level scenario where you have to kill an enemy with every mechanic that's a thing. Even the arrows. The arrows that force you to go in a direction. If there's just an arrow that's pointing off the edge into a hole. Wait, if the player does that, then they'll just be endlessly bashing their head into it. But if there's an enemy, then that means they'll just kill them. So, interesting. That's a thing. But I have to be careful with that. But yeah, the turning arrows, that being a thing, I haven't done anything with yet. Both, I'd like a boulder path that uses the turning arrows in an interesting way. And then also something where you're making an enemy or something into, or you, the player, have to use the turning arrows in an interesting way. Or, I mean, one small thing I can do with the turning arrows, let me just put it here, is you're in a little boxed area. The only way to go, like if there's a turning arrow here, is the only way to go up. And you just have to, hit against a wall a few times to then go at the right time. Like that'd be kind of the introduction to them to make sure you know how they work and stuff. I'm gonna put these just here as a temporary thing. Yeah. This is interesting as an alright like chunk of level and whatnot. Yes, okay, so we made a couple, and they're decent. Didn't make all of them, which I mean, I knew that this stream was gonna be shorter. I was kind of running out, like I didn't have all that time. And we haven't turned these into actual levels, but I think it will be, in theory, easier to take these and like combine 2 or 3 together and be like, yeah, woohoo, there's a level. Then not doing that and trying to just completely from scratch be like, here's a level, here's what it might look like. I don't know what I'm doing. we'll see. And we do have to also design like, well, the one thing I had a little bit designed like that is the final level is a separate kind of its own beast. Although what I can do with that, so I've rambled before about what the end of the last level, or what the last level is going to be. We're going to introduce a giant 5x5 enemy is the only thing that's there, which I don't think I have time to code that. Hopefully we're going to hope. I don't want to cut that out in theory. It would be cool to have. Okay, actually, one last little quick thing that I thought could be interesting as a bit of level. It's almost like a precursor to that is, real quick over here, is just the idea that, so you have a player, well, okay, why did you duplicate that? That's not what I want to do to duplicate it, but whatever, okay. Wait. No, you delete the floor there, not the player. Delete you. Delete this player, please. Okay. The idea starts with a long corridor. Actually, maybe a corridor that is... Oops. Because I'm pressing, like, the wrong combination of shifts and controls. 5x5, and then... Player can start, like... Wah. Player can start like that far up. All I wanted was just that you take an enemy, have 5 enemy. I mean, I don't know if it should be 5 if that's like maybe 4, because I'm gonna specifically have the 5x5 enemy, so I don't know if I necessarily want a 5-lane thing here, but specifically having this. But then you're not, the player's not like in the center of it. I prefer they started in the center, but I could do 3. Basically having this, like, having to, if there's walls on all sides, you're having to outrun these enemies coming towards you, but then having to some degree, like, move around some obstacles. I don't know exactly how that would work, but any amount that you're moving means that enemies are getting closer to you. But well, not with the springs. The whole point was that the springs were a thing. If, you know, well, not there because the player's there, but you know, specifically having a little bit of like if I do a bit of that, I don't know how this is gonna work, but you know, that kind of helps you get further away. Which, I mean, if the springs on them, if it was just the springs, that doesn't, like, work super well, but I have to combine that with, like, you know, here's some holes and walls and stuff. Well, not there, but, you know, there or whatever. And then, hole there. Real quick, I feel like this, I could do more tweaking around and be like, what would actually, you know, what would be the best, like, setup for this, but... like here, and then like you can just like move the enemies down one more. Well, actually, move all this down a little bit more. Give like a bit more time to like just move up. Let the player kind of get understanding of like what the kind of situation is. Even what if I have you move in from somewhere, but then if that's 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say, to get in, move these down. 1, 2, 3, 4. That much time for the enemies to be kind of coming up to you. This is just a corridor, and it's like being the biggest chunk we've made. That's fine. Let me just also just as a. I'm clicking all the wrong things. Have this final kind of stretch, and then like. Whatever the opposite side the spring's on, say. Then having to, like, here's a spring, but you're specifically going to move it to, like, use it to launch over. Let's put it there. I could even, like, put a wall. Well, if there's a wall there, then that doesn't work well with that. Here's an idea. Just messing around with some potential ideas. Let's say, like, you launch there, but then you can't go up from that, but then you have to, like, go around to this, but then you can't go straight you can't go over and up because of, like, a wall here or something. 2 walls, let's say. So then blah, and then over and up, and then blah. Any hole, though, means that the enemies are going to be going around them. Unless the enemies die. No, that's the problem. If any enemy dies, that kind of creates a hole. Although I guess that's not the biggest worry because, actually, I'll make these walls and not holes for, so the enemies won't necessarily die, they'll just bash off them, but then eventually they'll turn around. I want the enemies to be kind of intimidating coming up. And you know what? We're gonna have just in case some of them end up deciding to die accidentally, it can be just another wave of them. No, but that shouldn't affect things too much. It just gets to be more intimidating. Blah, 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 blah. So something like bang, and then like blah, and then blah, and then over, and like over. But why would you? So I wanted you to have to use this to launch to the right. Why? You have no reason to go around to launch there. You have to be there to. Looks like this being on the side here isn't the best idea. Launching here, but then you're still going into it from that side. If you had to like go into it from here to launch over, and that's like the only way, your only path is to you can't you can't launch up or you'll die. If you touch, the only way through is this spring, and then the only way you can go off of this spring and not die is here. And maybe just to be more like extra, be like, this is danger. Put an actual fire there if this is for funsies. And then blah, and then yeah, then up and over. Actually, what's interesting from this, enemies can only follow you through here, I guess. Blah, and then up and over. Sure. So at this point, we will have introduced that spray take you on walls. I don't know. They're just designing. I'm designing random stuff at this point. But you know what? Also, let's make one extra movement if I need to go down. Well, no, then you can go over and down. Let's say just for funsies that we do this, and then like put another bit of fire there. Why not? And then I don't know this. So you're kind of going up and over and then around because why not? I don't know. And let's say so then some more like just another wall you could potentially hit on if you're not like perfect with getting around. So I don't know if that's a bit unforgiving, but yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm curious to see what this does. How tight is it? Like, how close am I to just dying? Like, if I make all the wrong moves versus. Wait, no, enemy, don't mess with this. So, on one hand, okay, that was an enemy coming in. Where did that enemy come from? That came from, like, this one. That idea of like, hey, I'm almost there. Oh no, another enemy's just coming in from his own random like offshoot. I kind of actually like that. Just to have this extra layer of like, oh no, what are you doing here? So having just, even if it's not gonna like do that much, just having this one long strip with an enemy on it. That's not the enemy. Give me the enemy. I'd have to like get this to be exactly right, and I don't need to like block this off with a hazard wrapper because the player's not going to be going down there because it would be the enemy would be coming and that would be death in theory. But then if they accidentally kill the enemy and then they think, hey, I should go down here, this is just wasted space potentially. We'll see. Or I mean, actually, now that might be too much to be like, this is the path to go, and you have to quickly like kill that enemy before the other ones catch up, but. No, I think that's too much. Let me just. I said I would be going. I do gotta go. But this is a neat idea, and I just wanted to quickly experiment around with it. I don't really have any passages that like only an enemy can go through, but not the player. I haven't coded anything like that. Usually, it's like the player has more areas where they can do stuff. But oh well. Let me just see how this plays. Yeah. Let's just see. Mess around. Okay. So this first bit is just like there's not that much. It's just get away and don't move over too much. This use the springs ideally. Oh no, that was okay. You should be further back. It shouldn't be. I just did the sort of perfect sequence of moves. That shouldn't be what's required, I guess. You should like see him coming, but still have like a turn or two to not die to it. Okay. I could wall this off. Whatever, it's fine. Okay. So I don't know if there's anything I want to change about this exact pack because you don't actually use this until like a lot more up. Although I don't know if I wanted to like put more holes, but any holes that I put in is then like blocking off these enemies more and more, which I don't know if I love. I can always come back to something like this when I then go to turn this concept into like real part of level. I could then oh no, oh well, whoops. Oh yeah, I guess that's a part of those. Okay, part of those. If you launch in the wrong direction, that also is not going to be good for you. Boing, and then this, and then get that, and then oh no, there's that guy too. Okay, so that's like oh. Actually, that makes complete sense why that enemy died to that, and I think that's interesting. Like, my code is in place on purpose that the enemy will die to that because of... If it's right there, actually. If you were a space ahead of it, then it wouldn't. But I don't know if I love that. I was perfect, and the enemy was still, like, 2 away. I don't know if... This is a later level. It might be fine for me to require perfectness out of the player. But, I mean, I can still throw in an extra... Why don't I just throw in an extra, like... hypothetical hole here or there, and like here you're not going anyway, just to have a little bit less of this a little bit less structure, like being more like, yeah, this place is falling apart, whatever. And you know, since players not going down here, have an extra like, you know, random, you know, stuff that's like jutting out. And even up here, since it shouldn't affect anything, just yeah, have this just random blocks. Actually, you know, I'll allow this if the player goes left to land on this one. It'll waste a space, but they won't die on purpose. And I'm actually gonna put this. No, not 2. Because they have to go here, left, and then up is more fine. I guess here you're expecting more to go down and then up, so that you're less likely to go off the wrong way. I guess. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up as I do. As I do. I'll put a thing there as well. This looks slightly more interesting than just a corridor, I suppose. I mean, actually, it would also, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Not all the enemies would die from this path. So I'm curious of if I were to go like this ends with spring. That's not the spring. Give me the spring. If you spring over one of these, then that's like a point of no return for you, and then any enemy coming at you will then just die. I'm curious to see if I were to do this. I guess I kind of have to line this. If I line this with holes, then a lot of enemies might accidentally fall off. This can be one level that is just lined with normal walls the whole way around. Because, I mean, I want this, like, mix between walls and holes, in theory. But yeah, just... Most of the game will usually be, like, probably more holes than walls. So this gets to be kind of unique in that there's just a bunch of walls, which isn't the norm. I do have to make sure if you... I have to make sure if you're springing onto a wall. I actually might have, like, the occasional gap for that kind of thing. We'll say... Once again, the goal, it doesn't always have to go up. I'm inclined to always go up, but it doesn't have to be that way, so I can yeah, let it go down sometimes. Yeah. I'll quickly wall off this level just for funsies. And then we gotta end things off soon. Yeah. Even these diagonal walls also technically aren't important, but it's part of the aesthetics. Yeah. Just slowly. This does then get harder to like change once I've had all these walls in here, but oh well. This actually does feel more like a complete level rather than a so-called level chunk, but whatever. It's fine if that is how that ends up being. The point of this like level, like designing these level chunks is, yeah, some of them might just be entire levels on their own, like the boulder area, or have some small minor thing at like the beginning. Like, you know, we'll see. Technically, I don't necessarily need walls down there if the player's not going to see down there, but whatever. I'll make sure enemies aren't accidentally falling off. Is that it? I guess that's it. So one thing I do have to modify is that I do have to be aware, I guess, of the springs. I'm going to specifically have a hole there, and you're supposed to, no, you're going to have a hole there. That way, that's just stopping the player from going on walls. Actually, it's funny that you could go on this wall and go all the way around. I mean, yeah, it can look like a little bit purposely broken, but just happens to be broken in the right stops to stop in the right places to stop the player from breaking things, or from going where I, the game designer, don't want them to go. And you know what? I mean, it could even, if I really wanted to, I could do this, and actually just like, yeah, I can like let this be like a closed off thing, just having these occasional just, and I just for completionist's sake, I'm just gonna fill in these gaps with the actual like whole thing, so I can't actually go there. Yeah, that's looking like a complete level. So how does this play? If I try to go down, how quickly do I die? Basically immediately. Yeah. So yeah, if I go in here, I also die. Whoa, no. Yeah. It's interesting that, yeah, they're just going up because they're the way their AI is. They will eventually just separate. Yeah. There will be a so-called hard level. It's not like, I don't know. It might not be the hardest thing in the world. Oh no. Yeah, but how forgiving should it be? I messed up a couple turns there and then I died. Which does mean that, like, so it's like for this early section, assuming if the player's doing multiple attempts at the level, like, you know, dying over and over, this first bit, like, they move suboptimally, then it's these guys that are the worry that if I don't move good enough, then they'll kill me. But then when I get to the end, that last enemy is like a bigger threat than these guys are. So it's almost like you have a bit more leeway here, and you get to here and you might die, but then by the time you get here, then you know you'll die and maybe know how to get through that lower part more easily. Okay, so this part, I actually would have liked if all the enemies would have followed me around, and then I get to do this and then just watch them all try to follow me and die. As like a satisfying being like, aha, all of you die to this. So can I modify this somehow so that, like, with the enemy AI being as it is, they'll all just die to this? I mean, if I go around here, that just like cuts out this, which isn't what I want. How can I have the enemies get here? That's not an easy task. Especially also like not dying to something like this. I don't have any blocks that are like only enemies can pass through. If I did have something like that, then I would just make a thing. Anything I could, because I do have you purposely go around like that, and by the time, I mean, so potential thing is if I made up here a lot longer and then over and then down, then that gives more time for at least one enemy to come up through here or something. But like, yeah, okay, actually I might not be able to do that. I might just have to like let that be what happens. I could instead have like this and this be like lining up down here, and like you go over this and now you're kind of through this wave of everything down here, and you can watch them all die, and then this guy's coming over here as like one last little thing. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess if I wanted to have that, that's the only thing I really could do. Unless I save this idea of going over and watching a bunch of things, letting them die. Unless I save that for just another level. I mean, I could. I mean, I could. If I'd made these holes, then I can get at least some of that. Because if they're all following me over here, I can't lead the enemies into this from here. But once I go up and around, then I can be like, ha ha, you're all falling. Ha. Okay, so that slight tweak of the idea. Similar result, I suppose. Oh no, I didn't get the spring. Am I doomed? No, I still made it, so I mean, okay. Because even, yeah, ha. If I actually had a mechanic where you needed to kill enemies to get like keys or something, then that's this whole thing. Oh, actually, okay, so I wouldn't do this. I don't think I would do this. But the idea, if the goal was down here and you can't pass those units, you go up here just to kill them to then move down could be a thing. But then it just feels like backtracking that's like unnecessary, so probably not. Yeah, I'm fine with just letting it be that. Ideally though, I don't know, yeah, so this long stretch isn't a problem of like, if you go over here and over here, and by the time you're here, if you can see the physical goal, then you know, okay, I just gotta go there, and then the player wouldn't have any incentive to think to like, let me go back and check where that enemy came from. Oh, ideally that wouldn't be necessary. I just need enough distance for this enemy to, yeah, be far away. Okay, so that's that. I guess I don't need, I'll put this like here, and then I got shift this over a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to say, wait, I thought I had to hold control for this to happen. Oh, that's just because I have that turned on. Interesting. Which I kind of do want this turned on by default, so I don't have to hold control all the time, I guess. Sure. Anyways, so that's a bit of a lull. Interesting. Wait, are these guys on? They are. Yeah, okay. Technically they go below the map, but that's like, that's fine. You know, for now, I'll move them up a little bit. Move it over. Okay, so we got like, I'm gonna say we're gonna cut things off for now. We got a few cool bits of levels, including one that I think this would probably just be the finished, like what this level is, unless there's some tiny thing at the beginning or tiny thing at the end. But like, if I introduce any hazards here, then like that's a problem. But just some simple like moving around, like it has been like you're probably not gonna die to this would be the worst thing in the world. Yeah. Anyways, that's I think that was a good place to stop. More I have to stop because I gotta go. But yeah, this went well. I filled up my water bottle. Didn't even use that. It is funny. At the end of the first stream of this week, I remember that like my voice was, or my throat was very like by the end of it. I think with each stream I've been doing, it's been happening a little bit less and less. So that's funny. Although I guess this stream just basically wasn't as long as the other ones, and how long I'm rambling does also affect that. But yeah. Anywho. So yeah, I mean, short one. It's still 2.5 hours. It's still a decent amount of time for a stream. There wasn't a heap of people here, but that's fine. It's just placing blocks or whatever. Probably not the most interesting thing to watch, and that's fine. That's yeah. Some parts of game development are more interesting than others, and I was hoping that I could. Like, the idea with working on some of this game stuff was that I could do more of the tedious stuff off stream, between streams, and then come back to stream, like come to streams just doing the more interesting stuff. But I don't have time to work on stuff outside of streams, and that's doesn't work out that way. But anyway, so we got how many total things we got? One, two, there's a random. Okay, here, I don't need that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how much this counts, but 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of various sizes. We haven't even used all the game mechanics, but we got some interesting things. I think that's cool. And the very beginning of the game is just going to be some hallways that you just move around. I already kind of had that designed in the other. Or somewhere else it buried. I kind of had a bit of that. And then, well, first just like move up, and then ta-da. And then I was gonna have another thing where we have to just kind of move up, kind of around and a bit through some holes to have the goal in the middle. And then from that, having the combination of ground, walls and holes that hopefully at some like in that the player would bump into a hole and then know that holes aren't dangerous. So I already have some of that, I guess. And then, yeah, some levels in here. I don't know how long the game will be. I guess, in theory, it shouldn't be too long, because in this prototype version, we don't have the time to implement a full, like, saving and, like, level select and all that. In theory, if I made a polished version, I could do that. That could be part of a wish list item, is actually doing that. And if I do that, maybe like that, then it could have more levels. For this, I just tried to go, like, not the bare minimum, but close to it. But ideally, the game should be short enough that you can just do it in one shot. It's not like super long or even like super duper difficult. But yeah. But in terms of mechanics, I haven't even touched the turning arrows or like the non-faded arrows. I still got to do more stuff with those. We only have one level that actually uses the. Well, no, I guess we have 2 chunks that use the boulders. So okay, there's that, I guess. But the only purpose of the faded arrows is to guide these. So there's that. So we still got to use these 2 things. Potentially a bit more of these. I feel like I still want a little bit more of combining the springs with other stuff. A level that introduces the fact that a spring can put you on top of walls to make you have to walk around. So a level that utilizes that. Both forces you, like you cannot continue unless you do this in a level where that's the only thing you can do. So then the player can figure out how that is. Ideally, I guess we have just like a tiny little thing of walls that's like surrounded by enemies. That would be fun, is to have a level that's just like there's like 50 enemies, but like as long as you don't fall and it's not actually a threat, it's just an excuse to have a bajillion enemies. But no, I don't know if we'd actually do that, but we'll see. So just go across a bunch of walls and then fall, and then there's the goal. So we can do that kind of thing. Large enemies we haven't used, but I don't think we'll be having more levels that have like regular enemies in theory than levels that have the large enenes, but I'd like a couple, I don't know how much we'll mix large enemies with everything else, but like large enemy might just be like, here's a level where it's just like just that. Have fun trying to kill it. I mean it, and then like one other thing, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure that out. But at least one thing of like, so the large enemies will die to any hazard, but for the holes you have to lead them into a hole specifically. And that this is almost like it's subconscious training for the 5x5 giant enemy where to kill that you have to lead into a giant 5x5 hole. So this is also a good thing of like training the player on certain things that I want them to know. It's like almost practice for doing that without having to have text on screen that says, oh, by the way, to kill this enemy you gotta kill, like, lead into a thing. Or like, hey, with the spring it'll launch you over an enemy. You just set up a level where that thing is forced to happen and the player witnesses it happening, and then they hopefully then know that kind of thing going forward. So that's good. Like, yeah, doing tutorials without it being a full-on tutorial, that kind of stuff could be good. And like forcing a situation where one of these enemies falls into a 2x2 hole, then later on having the 5x5 enemy, then ideally then the player knows like, oh, okay, I kind of know what I'm looking for, and then yeah, doing stuff with that. Anywho, enough rambling for me. It's 1 now. I'm half an hour late from when I wanted to stop before. So we're gonna stop things for now, and let's raise the desk for the ending. Not that many people here, so I'm not gonna bother rating people, and I've gotta go anyway. So yeah, ideally I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time. When I first started streaming, I said I would be like streaming from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. was like the rough time estimated. I might change that as the default. I don't know. We'll see. If I'm to pick a 2 hours every day, ideally to stream, I don't know what the most ideal 2 hours is. Oh, hello, S Service. Hello, that was interesting. Thanks. Hello, glad you found some of this interesting. Enjoyed my rambling about random nonsense. I don't know how, compared to like some of the other stuff we're doing with making this game, I don't know how super interesting this building levels is as opposed to actually playing through a game or whatever. I mean I say that this will actually kind of become more tedious when we get to the point of if we stitch all this together and then have levels, then I have to convert these to like actual levels, and then like ideally I want to replace this whole grid thing to replace these. So there'll be that process that might actually be more tedious, but we'll get there. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's so that's gonna be it for this stream. I'll be back tomorrow in theory, and then Sunday I might be streaming most of the day Sunday. I expect that to be a stream on the longer side, and I say that now, I might jinx myself, but anyway, I just look forward to that, and then hopefully this game will be getting closer to being finished, and then we'll be moving on to other cool things, part of which will then be actually returning to this, then polish it up and do some the kind of wish list sort of things that we want. But anyways, at this point I'm just repeating stuff I said earlier, so I think we'll stop things for now. So that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. All right, bye.